Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we are going to be watching from top K-pop star to 13 years in prison, the rise and fall of Chris Wu, obviously by Stephanie Su. So last time we watched the story of the woman who just kept getting away with like cyaniding people, which is just crazy that they just kept letting her do that. Though, of course, last Chinaverse video, it was the one where the guy got banned for 630 years from whatever platform, I guess WeChat, for fraud, question mark, I guess. I don't know what he's doing now. Maybe we'll eventually find out what happens to him later on. Though now we're going to find out what happened to this person named Chris Wu. I don't think I have much to start this video off with. Yeah, I think we're just going to get straight into it. Oh yeah. I'll try to make sure to keep looking over here at the OBS to make sure it doesn't crash. And if it does crash, I can catch it and then switch audio. Because of course last time in the 630 video, the audio crashed and I had to switch. But I didn't notice it until like 20 minutes after it had happened, so oof. Sorry about that, but hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. I'll keep trying to pay attention.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and today we are back with another dun mukbang! Woo! Okay, this time...
Yeah, I don't know, I think last time I just, at this point, just skipped to her, talking about it, so I'm probably gonna skip the first, like, what, 5-6 minutes, and then we'll get into, like, the meat and bones of the story. Though, I did notice that now today, because we always have different things. We have, like, oh, that was, like, such a bad circle, but this neon light in the background, which I think clearly is Sailor Moon, aka Usagi. And I guess we just got like a bear over here. Her arm's in the way now, but yeah, I guess this is Sailor Moon, I'm assuming. I don't remember what her name is in English, but like the original censored version, they censored her name to not be Japanese. Because that's just how it was back in, like, was it the 90s? Like in the 90s, early 2000s. But Usagi, I believe, is her name, which, if you didn't know, means bunny. I don't know if that actually is the translation for her name in the show, but Usagi, just without any context, just means bunny. So her name literally is just, well, not bunny, it means rabbit. Her name literally is just rabbit, unless there's further context to that. But we're just going to skip to whenever she actually starts talking about this drama. Okay, I think we've gotten to the point where she's going to start talking about the story. Also, you can see the neon sign better now. I think it's like Usagi eating noodles, and the bear's blushing bear. Yeah, she's like talking about some sort of powder, and then that transitions into her talking about Chris Wu and possibly not being alive. I'm guessing because like he's gonna be in jail for 13 years, and then maybe she's gonna be dead in 13 years? Question mark. I don't know.
Crispy and covered in this like 5 spice powder. Oh, I keep thinking about that. Maybe I'll do a mukbang on that. But maybe I won't, because maybe I won't be alive by then. Because we're talking about Chris Wu today. As much as I love you guys, sometimes I think that you wish for me to be impaled by a giant spear one day. And
why is that?
Just plop over dead. Because you guys love to request cases that are going to get me in what I assume is going to be a lot of trouble.
Why? I mean, the stuff she does on, like, anything she does here couldn't be worse than what she does on Rotten Mango, so what the heck is she talking about?
Cases that I normally would not touch with a 10-foot pole, like today's case. The case of Chris motherfucking Wu. Look, I'm not religious, but this case...
What?
The scary comments,
Yeah, I was like, what?
already know that I'm gonna get on this case. They make me want to get down on my knees and say a little prayer for my safety and my mental health. Okay, that's a worthy disclaimer. So with that being said...
Is she gonna get hate comments or something? Is that what she's worried about? Just like haters?
Let's get started. This is the story of Chris Wu and how he transformed from this global pop star extraordinaire, one of the highest earning stars in China, with an estimated net worth, a rumored net worth of $300 to $400 million. Google will tell you it's around 9 million, and that doesn't even make sense because yeah. I don't know. Google's like things are weird, I guess, for Chinese stars.
9 million. Like there was like a couple years ago there was a huge scandal in China.
Fan Bingbing?
Fan Bingbing. Yes. So they
No clue what that is. Also, if you want to know where they got this food from, just because we skipped the food part, they're apparently in New York right now, and they went to some Korean joint.
they're exposing all the celebrity on how much they're getting paid per show and stuff.
Yeah.
And these celebrities are getting paid tens of millions for one movie.
That's crazy.
One movie or one TV show. And in comparison, there was also, I saw a clip of Korean celebrities
Oh, yeah.
reacting to, have you seen that?
No, but I saw the videos revealing how much Korean celebrities get paid per K-drama episode.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, don't get me wrong. That's like an obscene amount of money. But when then you compare it to people like in America or even in China, I was like, that's nothing.
Yeah, there was an episode. A bunch of Korean celebrity reviewing. So there's a couple of them went to China to film something. And they were like telling them how much they were getting paid in China for a show. And then all the other celebrities are, oh my God. Like they're all like, they're ready to move.
100 times more in China? 100 times more is a bold claim. So that means like if you're, it's not like 100% more, it's 100 times more, which are two different things. So like if you're getting paid $1 million to do a show, I guess in Korea, you're getting paid 100 million in China, which is a stark difference. The pay for the two shows are 250,000. So I'm guessing that you're trying to imply that it's only like a few thousands otherwise.
It's crazy. Is it because you guys have more people, maybe? So he goes from one of the highest earning stars in China to Toothpick Woo. Yeah, that's what they started calling him. You know why they call him Toothpick, don't you? It's
We're talking about Chris now?
not because he had gaps in his teeth. They were referring to the size of the frivolous body part between his legs. So
Okay, I didn't know if they were actually going to be talking about that or the fact that he was just holding a toothpick, because it makes sense because he's holding toothpicks.
he went from Chris Wu extraordinaire to Toothpick Wu, and then finally Convict Wu. At one point, somewhere in the middle, he became an international meme, but the reality of today's story is a lot more sinister and creepier than just memes. And it all starts with this kid. I'm taking you all the way back. Chris Wu didn't have the most marketable childhood story for
Okay, just child.
the people to rally behind. Okay, like IU, you know the K-pop star? She was
No clue who that is.
born into poverty. Her parents were in massive debt. She was living in her grandparents' house that was infested by cockroaches. And she said before, there is nothing harder than poverty. Even BTS's Yoongi, he said that he would have $2 a day and he would have to choose between the bus or food. He didn't have enough for both. Chris Wu did not have that underdog, like, ooh, I want to root for this guy type of story. That's not to say that he didn't grow up with struggles, but it's just, from what I can find, it's a rather privileged background.
I remember when I was young, there's a few times I was like, if I don't take the bus today, if I walk, I will save like $1 because bus costs $1.
Yes!
So I will have an extra $1 I can save for snacks in the future.
Well, Chris Wu didn't have to do that. Okay, his hardworking parents were super sucked into their business. Chris at one point was raised by his grandparents, and for a while things were going great until his parents got a divorce. He's 10 years old at this point. Chris's mom was like, I'm freaking over it. Like,
Okay, so I just realized we're talking about a K-pop star, so I'm guessing he's going to do something in China, because this is the Chinaverse, right? So where does this end up intersecting with China? How are we going to get to that point?
I'm out. Not only am I out of this relationship, not only am I out of this maritable home or this town, but I'm out of the country. Goodbye, loser.
Okay, so she's going to China?
She left her husband, packed her bags, took Chris all the way to Canada.
Canada?
Do you know how hard that is? Not just to travel to the other side of the world, but for a Chinese citizen to get into Canada at the time.
Chinese? Okay, are they Chinese from the get-go? Then move to Canada? Then move to Korea? I'm already lost in the sauce now.
One of the easiest ways in getting approved for a visa was getting an investor visa. But you needed to prove that you had nearly $1 million of assets, and you had to invest $500,000 into a government project. So the government would return the principal after 5 years, but still.
Wait, so she had that saved up?
Yeah, I don't know if things changed, but that's insane. And that's what Chris's mom does. And it's just the two of them living in Canada now. Now, Chris's mom is living off the savings that she brought with her. She did not work for like nearly 7 years. I'm not sure if she was becoming depressed. I don't want to speculate, but it said that she rarely socialized. She's withdrawing from society. She's withdrawing from outside contacts. She starts getting more and more strict with Chris. I think she turned all of this energy and anxiety and pent up emotions and just dumped it on her kid. And she's like, I got big, big plans for you, kid. You're gonna study hard, get into a prestigious medical school, like the type of school that everyone's eyes go wide the minute that you mention the name of the school, that prestigious. And from there, you're gonna be a doctor. You're gonna get married, have some kids, and bada bing, bada boom, so easy. You're gonna live a good life.
Isn't that like the stereotypical thing? Is they want you to be a doctor?
You're gonna take care of yourself, your family, your wife, but also me, because I'm the one that made this happen. I'm your mother, and you're gonna be forever grateful to me. That's the type of mom that she was. That was her plan, and she did not tolerate anything that wavered from this little master plan of hers. She decided that she knew what was gonna make Chris happy more than he knew. She was an intense mom. Yeah.
I heard he was a basketball player, no? Fun fact, I ran into Chris Wu once. At the gym.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know who he was at the time.
You didn't know who he was?
Yeah.
When I ran into him, it was Rap of China, right? Or before Rap of China?
Before.
It was before Rap of China. Ah. Because Rap of China, when Rap of China happened, he was huge at that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. It's just, this is just going over my head completely. I mean, he said he met him in like the gym or something, but I don't know what this rapper China, something like that. Don't know what that is, or even remotely. All this kind of like K-pop, J-pop. What we call it? Is there C-pop? I've never heard of the term C-pop before. Does that exist? Do we just consider it just pop? I don't know if I've heard anyone refer to China musically before, in a musically way. Now that I think about it, it's either just K-pop or J-pop. That's it. There's no other options.
Yes.
In China, he became a sensation.
Insane. I'm gonna walk you through it. Let's see where you fit into this timeline. I'm gonna be like, this was the year that he met my fiance. Changed his life, okay? So ultimately, they had a pretty strained relationship. She was just
Yeah, it's her fiance's fault that Wu ended up in jail.
way too involved in his life, to the point where if he was playing a video game, she would waltz over to the outlet and just unplug the computer in the middle of his game. Chris was so fed up he ran away from home multiple times. So after 5 years in Canada, feeling lost, stressed, confused, the two go back to China for a little while. Chris goes to middle school in China. Oh, he freaking loved it. He felt like he fit in, and he was taller than a lot of his classmates. So naturally, everyone was like, you need to try playing basketball. He did. He was on the team. He was the leader. He was the captain of that school. And they won the Southern China Championship for middle schoolers that year.
What?
Is it a big deal?
It's middle school, babe.
Yeah, I know that. You're like, what? I'm like, I didn't think
I
it was...
didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was that impressive. So he's like, okay, Mom, I peaked in middle school, so I'm gonna go to the CBA. You're like, what's that? It's the NBA, but instead of national, it's China, the Chinese Basketball Association.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, his mom, she didn't approve. She told him that
Yeah, I mean, she has him scheduled to be a doctor, right? There's no way that's gonna happen.
that's not a career. What are you talking about? Actually, now that I think about it, you're forbidden from playing basketball as a hobby, because technically it's dangerous. You could sprain your ankle or your wrist, and then you can't be a surgeon anymore, or you could get bonked on the head with a basketball and lose all of your brain cells. So, nope, no more basketball. She forcibly dragged him all the way back to Vancouver so that he could focus on his studies again, and it just added more and more strain to their relationship. Chris said that he frequently ran away from home just to stop arguing with his mom.
I don't know, like, this is kind of like a crazy story so far, right? Just constantly dragging your kid across the world back and forth to suit your needs? Question mark.
He said that he understood her, like he gets it. It's a single parent household. It's not easy for her. This is the only relationship that she has. But it's tough for him because there's not this third person or a middleman to help mediate. And then 2 years later, Chris Wu was discovered. Oh, discovered. He was discovered by a Korean talent scout company, SM Entertainment. Huge, massive. Like, if you know K-pop, you know SM Entertainment.
Don't know anything about K-pop, so I do not know the huge impact that would have.
Chris was scouted, and he's like, Mom, I really, really want to go. In the beginning, his mom was doing the whole, no, absolutely not, over my dead body, you little. But I think that she probably sensed that he might run away if she said no. So she was hoping, I think she was hoping that she'd be like, yeah, you can go. And then at the last minute, he would chicken out because he doesn't even know Korean. And suddenly he's going to move to South Korea and join the entertainment industry. Like, that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, this was like, again, I was like, how do we get to K-pop out of nowhere from being from China? But then I get how did you get scouted? Okay, so let's look at the timeline and like where we are location-wise. We were in China, ran away to Vancouver. She mentioned Vancouver, so I'm assuming Vancouver, but maybe that's just like she just named a generic place in China, and in Canada, and that's not actually where he was from. But went to China, went to Jesus Christ, went to Canada, fled back to China, then fled back to Canada, and then while you're in Canada, a K-pop scouting team finds you in Canada and wants to drag you to South Korea. Like, what? Why is this Korean company... Oops, I hit the mic there. Why is this Korean company hanging out in Canada looking for potential victims, to take back to South Korea to become K-pop stars? That just normal? Just to scout the entire planet to drag people back to South Korea to do K-pop?
Or maybe she thought that he would go and fail out of the trainee program in a week or two. But she ends up driving him to the airport. He cries and apologizes and is like, bye. And he boards the plane. She wasn't expecting it. He boards the plane to South Korea. It was the first time Chris Wu really rebelled against his mom, and it was like a huge turning point in his life. And he was officially thrust and living in the difficult life of K-pop trainees who are...
I feel like the mom would be like losing her mind now, because it's not like she can stop the plane. Like, she just lost her child, and she doesn't know she's ever going to see him again, right?
Just trying to make it. Can't even imagine how hard it is. Like, I heard it's borderline impossible. The stress, the pressure, manipulation, anxiety, depression. I mean, imagine. But Chris had his mom. Chris's mom was a lot. Anytime he complained about anything, even the smallest little hardship, his mom would pity him so much. I imagine her to be the type that's like, oh my God, my brave son. Are you sure the paper cut is healing? You should just quit paper in general. You should go digital. Never touch paper again. Like, that's the vibe that she gives me. It sounds dramatic, but apparently she tried to get him to quit every time he had the smallest obstacle because she felt so bad that he was stressed out. I don't understand moms like that. But he did really work hard, I guess. You can't knock him on that. He trained really hard for 5 years, and in 2012, he debuted with EXO. And then after 2 short years with EXO, he sued SM Entertainment, terminated his contract, and left the group and went to China.
Okay. Why? Also don't know who those guys are. Is she going to explain, like, what happens? Like, why he sued them and went back to China? Like, this guy is just going all over the place. So, timeline now. China, Canada, China, Canada, Korea, China.
It was shocking. A lot of people felt like it was kind of a betrayal, but I don't know. There were a lot of mixed feelings because Chris had a lot of people supporting him. K-pop companies are notorious for having insane working conditions. They're crazy for their predatory contracts and their unfair treatment. So a lot of people just kind of assumed the worst from SM Entertainment, and they started supporting Chris. He goes back to China, and everyone is all over him. The companies are foaming at the mouth to work with this guy. His exit from EXO was massive. It was like a huge scandal almost. So all eyes and ears are on this guy to see what he's gonna do next, where his career is going. Do the Chinese even want him back? And all these companies are like, while you have the eyes and the ears, we want you to wear our clothes. We want to be a part of that. He starts getting booked for movies, TV shows, variety shows, which are like reality shows, right? But kind of different. They're not like Love Island type of reality shows. They're more like celebrity-focused reality shows. Like a bunch of celebrities come together and they do like games and stuff. The giant fashion houses reached out to him, wanting him as a brand spokesperson. And the crazy thing is, Chris Wu originally didn't even sign with an agency when he returned to China. He set up his own studio. He hired his mom to be his agent slash manager. She was his momager.
Okay, mom's back in the picture, but where was she during his K-pop years? We don't get an explanation for that because from my imagination here, it's just like he got on the plane, bounced, and then she was just stuck in Canada without her son, and then I assume she just would have gone crazy, but did she then hop on the next plane to Korea and went to go live with him? Because obviously, like, it doesn't make sense for a kid to be off on their own in the middle of nowhere with no guardians, question mark. That part's a little bit confusing. But I assume she came back into the picture at some point during all this, and then they went to Canada together, because now obviously she's his manager.
And
you know how big they were? So there's 4 Chinese guys who came from EXO. So they all came to China, right?
do you know all their names?
I know their Chinese name. Yeah. One of them is Luhan. So Chris Wu, Luhan, and then there's a couple others. They were so big to a point that one of the guy took a photo with a mailbox on his Instagram. He took a picture. And that mailbox, for days, there was a line for days of the fans taking picture with the same mailbox. Like days. That's the influence they had.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, really? Really, guys? We're gonna go hug this mailbox because this K-pop boy touched it? Is that what we're doing?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, she was the momager to that. Like, she didn't have experience, and it went as well as you would expect. Suddenly, she had to oversee his finances, his contracts, all of his business obligations. She had no idea anything about this industry. It was a lot. So they later hired a well-known agent in the industry, which becomes like a whole scandal later because they apparently didn't pay them. They like cut them off later on and then didn't pay them certain amounts that they were owed. It's very intense, and it was pertinent for them.
It's kind of topical to what's currently going on in the VTuber industry, if you know anything about that. Cough, cough.
To build a brand in China quick.
You know, people not getting paid and all that.
It's very intense, and it was pertinent for them to build a brand in China quickly. Their whole idea was we need to build an image in China before that image is built upon us. Before other people are like, oh, this is the type of person Chris Wu is. So we need to start pushing this narrative. And the aesthetic that Chris Wu went with was that he looks tall and he looks kind of scowly.
What does looks tall mean? Looks tall does not imply that someone is tall. So are we saying, is he tall? He said he's taller than the other than his peers back when he went to China. So is he in fact tall, or is it literally just he looks tall? Because looks tall and is tall are 2 different things.
Sorry. I would say he has sharp features that don't necessarily strike me as very kind.
Sure.
He has sharp features.
His eyes are sharp, I guess. Big eyebrows. His chin is rounded though. Like, but what I mean by that is, I mean, like, this is not too sharp. Not like the last guy, which is kind of why I wasn't too into the last guy's face. The one who got banned for 630 years, because his face was like literally a triangle. It was like sharped to a point, I feel like, at the bottom.
Features that don't necessarily strike me as very kind. Conventionally very attractive, but I would never look at him and be like, oh my god, like he looks so nice and sweet.
Like a soft.
Well, he kind of does look like he's scowling there.
Yeah, like he
feature,
doesn't
yeah.
have like soft, like smiley features, right? I guess
No.
like a
He looks
comparison.
sharp, yeah.
Yes, very sharp to the point where he almost looks like that high fashion, almost angry kind of look, right? So I think because of the contrast, they decided that they were gonna market him as this innocent, friendly boy. Yes, he might look like that, but deep inside his heart,
Is this the delinquent looking boy who actually is just, like she said, a softie? There's a lot of anime like that where boy looks like delinquent and is treated like a delinquent by his peers, but then girl shows up and sees that he is not actually a bad person. He's actually a good guy. He just looks like a bad guy. Like maybe his hair is blonde because like in Japan that'd be considered like you're a delinquent if you have blonde hair, right, in school, because you're all supposed to have um I don't know how you would describe it. You're all supposed to have your natural hair color, which should be like a brown to black, I believe, because like you're assuming it's a homogenous is the right word, right? Society? Question mark. Let me look it up. I don't want to sound crazy. Yeah, it's. I mean, like Japan is a homogenous society, right? Most of the people in Japan are Japanese. Thus, they're going to have brown to black hair. And I think, like, I've heard Japanese people say, like, well, they're like half Japanese, and thus, like, the hair is naturally lighter or blonde, and thus, when they go to school, they get in trouble by the teachers. It's like, oh yeah, you need to dye your hair back to its natural color, and it's like, I was born this way, and they're like, no, you're lying. Dye it back to black. But and they won't listen to them, even though their hair is naturally blonde or a color that isn't black. They still get in trouble. So there's like kind of like weird. Um, it's not racist, but if you want to see it that way, there's like some sort of stuff like that in. I feel like Japan, and then so when you see like this archetype that I'm talking about, like delinquent boy who isn't actually delinquent, he just looks like a delinquent. I think a lot of times it's just because their hair's blonde, or like they've either dyed their hair blonde to look like a delinquent, I guess, or they're just naturally blonde, and thus come off as like a delinquent. Like I almost forgot like where I was going with that.
softy, just so soft.
But yeah, I'm assuming that's what they're going for. The delinquent looking person who is actually just the most gentlest, nicest guy. Just nice, a good boy. Good boy who looks bad.
That's what his agent wanted him to be. And they said that the contrast between his look and his reality, that was the spice. And it freaking worked. Chris Wu started getting booked out. He even went to the Grammys. He attended an NBA All-Stars game. He became one of the most well-known stars, not only in China, but globally.
That picture wasn't up on the screen for long, but he does look tall, so he probably is tall.
In 3 years, he starred in 10 movies. The total box office for his hit movies was $811 million. That's nearly $1 billion.
Wait, they made 800.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because at that point, what's an extra 200 million? So I'm rounding up. Almost $1 billion. I mean, Chris Wu was who everyone wanted to be and who everyone wanted to date. His image was unstoppable. He was the it boy.
But
Yeah.
just gotta say, I don't think those movies were very good.
That's what I heard. I heard his acting is subpar.
I would assume so, but I don't know the guy, so who knows? But I just assume some random guy doing acting would have been pretty bad.
Oh, come on.
What?
There's cheese in here. Very good.
Yeah, apparently his acting is pretty cringy.
Yeah.
I've never watched it, but
Would you still watch a movie if the acting is cringy? Like, can you fit?
I feel like people like to watch movies. Like The Room, the infamous movie, The Room, is so popular because of how bad it is, right? And people will just watch that all the time, or like it's a movie you're supposed to watch with other people and laugh at how bad it is. And I know there's people out there that go watch it like yearly, or even go see it in theaters whenever they just play it in your like a local theater for the jokes. They'll just go see it. So people do watch movies, like movies so bad that they're good movies.
Finish it, or you're like, okay.
But a lot of them, they hired them just to get his fan base into the theater. Like the other actors can still be good, just he's horrible. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that they're bad. The fans showed up and made them almost $1 billion, so it doesn't matter how bad it is. They made the money.
And in 2016, he finally signed with Jackie and JJ Productions.
This might rub people the wrong way, but I haven't watched it. But the new Lilo and Stitch movie, I think, is doing very well. But the consensus online is that it is very bad, despite it being like it making so much money, which I think it's just like the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it seems the moral of the story for the new is it CGI or is it like live action? The new live action Stitch movie, Lilo and Stitch movie, is the complete opposite of what the moral of Lilo and Stitch, the original Lilo and Stitch movie is / the cartoon, because there's a cartoon too, right? I assume like that's the same. I'd watched the cartoon a lot as a kid on Disney Channel. Like the show is what I mean. How many episodes of the show is there? I feel there's a lot of episodes, and then they even made an anime out of it. If you didn't know that, Japan I think got a hold of it and continued the series as an anime, or maybe there's a reboot or something. I don't know, but I just know there is an anime version of Lilo and Stitch on top of the cartoon that Disney made itself, on top of the movies, and now on top of the live action. So I don't know if anyone out there is just going to be like, "Oh, I love the new live action movie." I just know that every time I've heard anyone talk about the live action movie online, it's always been, it's not good. Like, I haven't seen a single good word about the movie, but it's just the fact that it's Lilo and Stitch just made it like $1 billion, right? So a lot of times it doesn't matter if a movie is good or bad. Like, that's my point. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Sometimes it will just make a lot of money. And in this case, Lilo and Stitch, even though it seems the general public believes it's not good or it misses the point of what Lilo and Stitch is supposed to be about, it still made a lot of money, and they're probably gonna make more movies now because they made a lot of money, and they're just gonna continue the same kind of thought process, I would assume, with the second / third movie if they make sequels, just because they made so much.
Run by Jackie Chan, who allegedly took
What?
Actors can still be good. Just he's horrible. Like.
And in 2016, he finally signed with Jackie and JJ Productions, run by Jackie Chan, who
I didn't know he had his own productions.
allegedly took Chris Wu under his wing, like really liked him apparently. And to have Jackie Chan as your mentor, as almost like your pseudo godfather in this business, that's big. That means you have some of the biggest names backing you behind closed doors. Like the power that Jackie Chan has, the more Chris Wu is getting booked, the more he's getting paid. His rate just keeps going up, doubling. And then the Peter effect took place, you know?
What? And was not expecting Jackie Chan to make an appearance here. So what did he even do with Chris? I would just assume, like, what does Jackie do other than teach you martial arts and how to be like a stuntman and like how to get hurt properly? Because if you didn't know, Jackie, I'm pretty sure, does all of his stunts. So if you've seen any crazy stunts from him, he's all done them himself. I feel like that's kind of like Tom Cruise, right? Doesn't Tom Cruise does everything? He's like an old man. He is a senior citizen now, and yet he is still doing Mission Impossible stuff as a old haggard old man. Let's see how old Tom Cruise actually is right now. Yes, Tom Cruise is 63 years old, and he just made a new Mission Impossible movie recently, right? I'm pretty sure he did all the stunts in that too. Which again, like I said, 63, that's old enough to get Social Security, I believe. So yes, he is a old senior citizen man, and he's out here doing crazy, death-defying stunts at that age. I'm assuming Jackie was doing the exact same thing too, though. Though, we're just gonna add a little bit of spice to that, and by spice I mean depression. I heard like this conspiracy theory about Tom Cruise that he's just like so miserable or something. Like he's just so depressed that I don't know how it always goes. Like how like they were trying to explain it, but the reason he's doing all of these crazy stunts, even in like as a 60-something-year-old, it's to like potentially, hopefully, like self-exit, right? I know it's like a depressing thing to think about, but somehow the way it was worded, I don't know how it was worded, but the way that it was worded, it was like, wow, that's actually kind of, I could see that. If he's out here as like a senior citizen still doing these psychotic stunts, question mark. But yeah, back to Jackie Chan.
Know what the Peter effect is? The Peter effect is a theory about what happens in the workplace. People keep getting promoted because they're a great, competent employee until they get promoted so many times that they are now incompetent for the role that they have been promoted to. So eventually everybody becomes Peters, and that is why a lot of the workforce feels unproductive, is what the theory is. I'm not saying I agree with this.
What do you mean a lot of people become Peters?
Like, they all get promoted until they are incompetent in their job. And so sometimes that's why employees will complain, like, why does management all feel like so useless? It's because they're all Peters. They've all been promoted to the point where now they don't have the qualifications for their managerial position. And all the
Who are we referring to when we're calling them Peter? I was assuming like a Petering, like that word, but no, we were using like a literal the name Peter, not Petering. So who is the original Peter? The only Peter I know is Peter. That would make sense. Is Peter Griffin, but I have no context for that. Is Peter Griffin's job some sort of place that he doesn't belong in? Because I feel like that has to be like a way older like reference than just Family Guy. So is there some sort of famous Peter that I don't know about that's being referenced here, or what?
The employees are like, do you guys know anything about anything? Why do you guys suck so hard? Chris Wu got Petered because he was getting paid a lot, but everyone was like, wait a damn minute. He kind of sucks at acting. Did anyone notice? Like, yikes. They're not good. Apart from a few films that he starred in, they they were done by an amazing team and cast. The other films, they had abysmal ratings.
Oof.
Some of them in the single digits.
Oof. Mega oof.
Everyone had a problem with his cringe acting, but who cares? Who cares? Everyone loves the guy. He went on show after show, and everyone is curious. Why is this guy single? What are you looking for in a partner, you know? Give the fans at home some hope that you're single because you're waiting for one of them to show up in your life right now. And this should have been a huge red flag. It really should have been. Okay, but Chris Wu said his criteria for looking for a spouse is that she had to look angelic.
Okay, that's vague. That doesn't mean anything.
She had to look pure.
Pure is a word.
He wanted someone innocent.
Okay. We understand now. It's not subtle anymore.
Very clean. Not a lot of makeup.
Not a lot of makeup is not. That doesn't have anything to do with the other things. I think what he's asking for is someone who has not had relations. That's what all the other stuff are for. The makeup stuff, I don't know what that means. I guess he just doesn't like makeup.
That's what
fine.
He
said.
I like angelic, pure, and clean type girl. Very innocent looks. What is this cut that he has? Does he have a mohawk? Don't like a lot of makeup. Like everything else before that was just like it seems like he's asking for someone who's never had relations before. The makeup stuff, that's just a preference.
That's a raging red flag. And then he said that his mom needed to be happy with his choice.
Sure. I mean, it's clear that he has to be like a mama's boy at this point. Not really a mama's boy, but she has enough control over him that it would make sense, I guess.
Compared to what
I'm not saying it's good or not. I'm just saying that makes sense.
That's a raging red flag. And then he said that his mom needed to be happy with his choice. In fact, compared to what he wanted, his mom's preference was even more important to him.
I think I'm fine, but my mom really strict. Anyway, I will listen to my mom about this. He does have a mohawk. He just has like a weird shortcut. I think it's pretty normal.
But at the time, internal biases were at play. Confirmation bias. Everyone liked Chris. So they had confirmation bias, and they're like, aw, he really respects his mom. He will respect his wife. Wow. And then the starting signs. The house of Chris Wu was rotten from the inside, termite damage, mold. I mean, from the inside, things weren't looking great, but from the outside, everyone is like, wow, look at this beautiful mansion. But
Oh,
June 14th of 2016.
Not too long ago, which means if he wasn't in jail by then, that he is still in jail to this day then, most likely. He's not going to be out for a while.
The first crack was exposed.
I just want to point out something. I'm pretty sure it's just a chopsticks, but this over here looks like a cigarette just sticking out. There's like a lot of like subliminal imaging that I'm just being hit with. Like this looks like a cigarette. This, if you're not paying attention, looks like an ashtray. I mean, obviously it's just like a dip container, and then that's just the chopsticks, I'm guessing, just off the side. But I don't know why it looked like a cigarette. I know that has nothing to do with anything, but just being dumb, observing that.
But like most things, the first crack is never taken seriously, unless it's the butt crack.
Tomato, tomato, tomato.
Sorry. When there's a pattern of cracks or a series of cracks, that's when people are like, wait a minute, that's a pothole. We should do something about it. So the first crack was an influencer named Little Gina. She was less than 20 years old.
Are we using Photoshop to get those kind of eyes, or what?
And she looked like an angel. That's how everyone described her. Well, that day, she decided to tweet at Chris Wu, and she wrote, "From Vancouver to Canada, then to Shanghai and Beijing. In these unfamiliar cities, I have no relatives or friends. Every day I hold my phone at home and I wait for your messages. But now you've disappeared. You neither answer my WeChat messages nor my calls. Do you remember what you said to me? Reply to me, even if you want to break up. What is the point of ghosting me?"
Okay, we're saying he was with this girl this entire time, whilst he was on that television show talking about who he wants to date.
At Chris Wu. And to show Chris that she was serious, she didn't come to play. She posted screenshots of their chats and audio messages that showed that the two had sex, and Chris completely ghosted her after that. She even posted a picture of her and Chris Wu in a hotel room where Chris was falling asleep next to her, and little Gina claimed that she was confused, heartbroken. She just wanted answers for why she was being ghosted, and since he wasn't responding to her, she felt like this was the only way to get his attention. She felt like she had been backed in a corner. Which, side note, one of the messages that she exposed, she was apparently going over to Chris's place to talk to him, and he texted her, "If you're coming, we'll talk when you get here." And she responded, "I'm here. Do I just get a room by myself? You still haven't woken up yet?"
What?
He responded, "No, my mom's here."
My mom is here. Seriously.
Seriously. He's like 30 at this point. Meaning he couldn't see her because his mom was with him and he was serious about it. Okay? The internet went wild with that one text. They dragged him less for ghosting little Gina, but for being a little mama's boy. Anyway, Chris Wu denied the story, and a few celebrities, including a very famous director, defended him, and the internet moved on. The only impact that it had on Chris Wu was that it made him more famous. He was
That's it. I mean, like, bad publicity is just publicity, right?
getting more attention. It was like a mini controversy, like what the Kardashians do, but it was like great for PR. In 2017, Chris Wu was invited to be on the host one of the hottest shows at the time. Oh, so you met him after, I think, then.
2017?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he was a host on Rap of China.
Okay, so that's what this is. The Rap of China. No clue what that is. If it's crazy enough, I assume she will bring it up again as its own thing in the future.
Let me tell you. This guy is obsessed with Rap of China. He watched Rap of China every day. I would hear Rap of China in the background, and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?"
I'll tell you, it's a pure.
Yes.
It all started with pure, like, curiosity. It's like when you first discover mukbang.
Okay, well, it's just a narcotic, right? You just need to take a little hit, right? Just to try it first. I'm not gonna get addicted, and then now it's like you can't do anything else but.
It's just like pure, like, what the is this? You know, I've never in my whole life ever heard Chinese rapper. It just sounds so weird. It's like.
It doesn't. You hear like Japanese rapping in anime sometimes. 'Cause it's not all just like anime music slash J-pop. It's sometimes you will, or even J-rock, you will hear J-rap. I guess we just add a letter plus music genre to everything. Uh, Also, did he just throw her under the bus, saying that she's obsessed with mukbang as much as he is with rap of China? The rap of China. What is it called?
Like it's almost like a kink or something. Like when I listen to it, I'm just like, I can't believe these people. And then Chris Wu was so bizarre on there too. Everything is so bizarre.
Why was
about
he
it.
bizarre on there?
The first episode I saw was he's like wearing this big cape.
Oof, Supreme. Does anyone even like Supreme clothing? I know that was like a thing, but I feel like is that a Zoomer slash or Gen Alpha too young for that to like be obsessed with Supreme? But I feel like Supreme was around a lot of times, and I feel like it was more of like a kid thing to try to get Supreme clothing to try to be like the cool kid.
He walks out with a cape and he's like, and he's so serious. Like anyone who watched Rap of China would know. Like he's so serious. He doesn't even smile. The whole time he's like looking into all these quote rappers' eyes and be like, "You got freestyle? You got freestyle?" And then you see these like rappers, they're all fumbling, like they don't know what to do. They're like, "Yeah, yeah," and then they rap like the most cringy rap I've ever heard. It's just such a show that I can't stop watching.
可以一人来一段 freestyle 吗？你有 freestyle？
He just keeps talking about freestyling. I mean, I don't think he has a cape on. It's just like a trench. It's not even like a trench coat, but it's like a trench coat adjacent. Great coat.
freestyle 吗？
What, the crazy eyes? Just added over. It's not just. That's not a emotionless face. That is like he's given the crazy eye to this guy. Like he's surprised that he's doesn't have anything to say. I feel like if you're going to be on the show of that's called the Rap of China, you're trying to be a rapper, I would expect you to be able to freestyle. I'm just gonna put that out there. Also, what is that in the bottom corner? You can't see it. Is that vitamin water equivalent? Where am I? Here. Like that. You see that in the bottom right corner? There's just a bunch of vitamin water looking things. I guess it's just an ad in the corner for this.
But some people were good.
Yeah. And then I still slightly like obviously there are good ones too. And then I become a fan to some of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am a fan of some people that were on there.
Yeah,
oddly enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the girl that I love?
Lexi Liu,
But the other one too.
Vava.
Vava, yes.
Yeah.
How does he know what she likes, but she doesn't know what she likes?
It's where a bunch of contestants come on to rap, and there's a panel of judges, rappers, who will critique them, coach them, eliminate them, and there's a lot of wild moments. It's basically like The Voice, but rap version, and Chris Wu was a fan favorite on the show. Every single episode that launched, he would have kind of bizarre outfits, if I can say so objectively, but every episode,
Well,
he would have
take a
kind
look.
of bizarre outfits, if I can.
Okay, so what do we got? This urban supreme wear on the left there. The one in the middle, another one in the middle. This one here, I don't know. Just a suit. I can't tell what the pattern is. I don't know. That's fine. Then we have this like Paris question mark inspired outfit here. I mean, they're not that outrageous. They're kind of just like they're kind of crazy, but I don't know. I guess it's just the fact that he's not keeping the same style every time, but he is kind of wearing the same glasses, the same circular glasses here. This one might be different than these, but it seems like he's wearing the same glasses in at least these three. This one you can't actually tell. It could be either or of these. But I mean, he's rich, right? So he probably just has like a billion different outfits and a billion different companies trying to get him to wear their clothing. So obviously we have Supreme. Supreme paid him to wear this. Supreme paid him to wear that. I can it barely edges over to see that that's a Supreme. I don't know who these shoes are. This I could not tell you. Adidas. I am going to make the assumption that Adidas paid him here just because I see the twin stripes on the side. I'm assuming that's what that is. This might even be Adidas too. I can't tell what this says because all the jewelry and nonsense in the way, but just the stripes. But I feel that just goes with like the Paris or France, I should say, not Paris, France theming we got here. But what's with the live long and prosper? I just noticed, like up here, you a nerd? Is Chris Wu a nerd doing the Vulcan hand sign thing from Star Trek?
Can say so objectively, but every episode, people would find out where every shirt, every accessory was from. They would screenshot it, post the outfit information. Instantly, everything would sell out. They weren't even.
I mean, I'm assuming that was the idea. Like I was saying, people were paying him to wear this stuff and thus get advertising, and then that advertising got them more money. It's just business.
Cheap pieces. It was like Rick Owens, Bulgari watches. Since everything he wore instantly sold out, it seemed that his real niche was fashion. I guess everybody loved his fashion. So he started a variety show centered around fashion, and to really solidify his space in the fashion industry, he landed some pretty big deals. He was invited to the Met Gala. He became one of the first non-British global spokespersons of Burberry. I hate saying Burberry. Okay, did you know I worked there for 2 days? Yeah, it was the worst. Not gonna lie to you, it was probably like top 5 worst places I've ever worked in my life. Wow. The culture there is bizarre. I don't know if it's just that one store, but they're like, you can't say Burberry. Sounds dumb. I'm like, you're dumb.
I mean, that makes. I don't doubt it. I would assume most of those like preppy. I'm assuming that's like a preppy place. Assuming anybody even knows what the word preppy even means anymore. I feel like when I was young, like preppy was a word that you'd use, like preps, the prep kids and whatnot. So if you're a prep, you wore like oh my god, how do you even say it? Abercrombie and Fitch, right? Fitch, Banana Republic clothes, stuff like that. Whatever the other one is, American Eagle, is that what it was called? Clothes from there, and then you had the opposite end of that, like the alternative kids, the rocker kids that shopped at Hot Topic, until Hot Topic became kind of like a store that pseudo for preps, right? Because they just started selling popular culture stuff after a certain amount of time. But yeah, I feel like if any of these preppy hoity-toity stores like that that seems like in place with what they would probably try to do. Like, you got to say your name right. You can't act like this. You got to act how you'd expect, like, I guess, a prep would look like or act like. Just like at Hot Topic, the people who work at Hot Topic look like they would work at Hot Topic. Piercings, a lot of black clothing, hairstyles that go along with that, etc., etc. So I assume the same sort of behavior would be at these preppy stores.
That's rude. I'm leaving. Okay, so anyway, he became a global spokesperson, which I didn't know there were ranks to it, but it goes like this. For international brands, you can be quoted as a friend of the brand. That means the brand kind of likes you. They're not committed. You guys are just kind of seeing each other. They might dress you here and there. Then you become a brand ambassador. That's a step up. The brand likes you. They might dress you. You're somewhat associated with this brand for a while, right? And then top tier, brand spokesperson. Like this. And your bank account?
Accidentally paused for like a nanosecond.
Brand spokesperson. That's like you and the brand are like this. And your
that makes sense. There's a lot of like stuff like that in the world.
Bank account is like this. Even then, there's levels to it. You could be a spokesperson for the region, for the continent, right? For Eastern Asia, North America, or you could be a global spokesperson.
So the highest is global spokesperson.
But there's layers to that too.
Okay.
So there's product.
We're gonna go to space, the universe, the galaxy. Well, I guess like the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, the multiverse, etc., etc.
Product specific spokespeople. So you could be a regional spokesperson for a series of products. So that's like their athletic line. You're like a spokesperson just for their athletic line or just for their jewelry line. Or you could be the top tier is full product line, full global ambassador.
Like you are
Sure.
the brand.
You are the brand. You and the brand. Yeah, you are Burberry. Yeah, you're not just a Burberry trench coat. You are Burberry.
Wow, he was that?
He was that.
Whew.
Yeah.
And then he was Louis Vuitton, right?
Yeah, and apparently after he signed with Burberry, their sales in the third quarter increased by 22%. I mean, how much of that is Chris? I guess we don't know. Maybe Burberry knows, but that's insane. So from there, when his contract or relationship ended, he starts working with Louis Vuitton as a global spokesperson for them in 2018.
Wow.
And then in 2019, he became the spokesperson for Bulgari watch in China.
Yeah, just like every Company under the sun at this one.
So not globally. And then he was the spokesperson of Porsche China Motorsport in 2021.
Porsche as
Oh
well.
yeah. He was doing a lot of races in Porsche.
Yeah.
Yes.
Side note about the Porsche deal, okay? Chris decided that he was gonna dabble in potential racing career because, you know, that's pretty cool. Like, vroom vroom. He's the whole I want to be a bad boy aesthetic. Mama's boy coming through, beep beep. And
No, isn't his aesthetic? I look like a bad boy, but I'm actually a good boy.
Chris broke a lot of records. Unfortunately, they
What? A lot of records for being really bad.
were all his own records. And during that time, rumors about potential relationships were still raging on in the background. But most single celebrity, A-list celebrities, I imagine, have those rumors. In 2019, he was spotted. He was spotted holding hands with a 21-year-old named Luna Chen. It was all over the tabloids. Luna decided to take to social media.
Let me roll that back.
Luna
Let me see what's happening. Yeah, I guess that they are holding hands. So I want to see if she's holding his hand or she's holding onto his arm. I mean, I don't know if you want to argue those are two different things, but it looks like their hands are being intertwined.
It was all over the tabloids. Luna decided to take to social media to silence the rumors. She wrote just one tweet about it. She wrote, "I've always respected Chris Wu. We are not dating and we don't have a story for you." For some reason, people did not like her statement. I don't know why. I thought it was a regular statement. People did not like her holding hands with Chris Wu because immediately she became the target of backlash and bullying. A ton of people started accusing her of being a little schemer. They suspected that she did all of this to gain attention. She wanted to become a big social media star, and that is why she's doing this.
Doing what? Isn't the picture like something that's just got taken by some random paparazzi? Question mark. Like, how did we get this photo? I assume it wasn't from her.
The narrative turned from, oh my god, Chris Wu is dating someone, to Luna is manipulating Chris Wu's gentle feelings, tricked him into thinking that they were in love, and then called the paparazzi on them in the parking lot, made this picture go viral and get leaked, and now is trying to become famous off of the incident.
Okay, we're just like doing a lot of gymnastics here. Is it just because of the like image that he's trying to portray, right? The good boy who looks bad. So he's actually just an innocent good little boy, and then she's this evil seductress, this man-eater showing up to taint his innocence or something, steal his money.
A lot of people started to feel bad for Chris. Listen, that is some crazy PR team going on. I'm just saying, we can feel bad for anyone. It doesn't matter. But a 30-year-old man with that amount of power, fame, and money, we can't sit here and act like they're innocent. We can't sit here and be like, oh my god, they're just waiting for love. Come on. So a lot of people started to feel bad for Chris. They said that he was just a pure boy who longed for love, and he was just so naive, and we must protect him at all costs. Chris got no hate, not saying that he should get hate for a dating rumor, but Luna got a ton of hate. And Chris, his image of being this pure boy looking for true love only deepened, which, again, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, what in the romance novel trope is this? You're telling me that he can't find a single girl that he wants to settle down with him, and he's just waiting for the right one? You watching at home, he's waiting for you. I mean, I get it if he's like, I can't settle down because of my career, but he was really kind of leaning into the whole, you know, I need love. So anyways, things calmed down after a while until another rumor quite literally almost broke the internet. Let's talk about DMZ. DMZ is what they call her, but her name is Du Meiju, and she was born in...
Okay, what is that animal she has? Is that a cat? I can't tell because it looks like the face is all scrunched up. What is it, like a rabbit? But it's not a rabbit. I think it's just like some sort of cat.
In 2002, she is a performing arts student. She had
Wait, what?
is
Roll.
Du Meiju, and she was born in 2002.
Oh, she's born in 2002. She is very young.
She's a performing arts student. She had just taken the college entrance exam in 2020, so she's very young.
Same thought.
And she kept getting reached out by Chris Wu's agent to meet. Chris Wu's agent is Fang Meng, a woman, and keep this in mind for later. So DMZ is rejecting each and every request to meet in person because she's like, I don't care if you're Chris Wu's agent, this is weird, why would I want to meet with you? And then the agent was even asking for her to come to a Werewolves of Miller's Hollow card game.
Okay. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming if we're just using the term werewolf, we're talking about like the game Werewolf, which if you don't know what werewolf is, just if it might be more familiar with the name Mafia, Or Town of Salem, it's just a game where a bunch of people get together and they get a bunch of roles, and one of the roles is werewolf, and the werewolf's job is to try to kill all the other people at nighttime, and it's everybody else's job to try to figure out who is the one going around killing everybody. If you've ever heard of the game Among Us, I mean, Among Us is essentially a more like live action. We're gonna say that now, like live action, more of an action version of that, because these games usually are like what board games slash turn-based kind of games, not necessarily something you're doing in real time. But Among Us is a in real time sort of game. I never played it. I want to. I wasn't part of that like train of it. Everybody and their grandma being obsessed with Among Us. I'm good. But I'm assuming that's what she means by this werewolf of whatever game that she was invited to. It's just werewolf slash mafia slash Town of Salem slash whatever name you want to give this to the game.
What? Oh, Long and
Yes, with Chris Wu.
It's the same game.
Yes,
we
it's
played.
like Mafia, but
Yes,
apparently
Oh, okay. She's just gonna explain it anyways. Like werewolf, mafia, Town of Salem. Town of Salem might as well just be werewolf because I think in Town of Salem you probably just have werewolves, but you have all sorts of different kind of roles that you can play.
Yeah.
you guys do it in like buildings or something. Like you can go to a giant building and dress up.
Oh yeah. Yes. Like role play. Like much more intense type of game. Yes, very popular.
Yeah, the agent is like, "Do you want to come to this werewolves game? Chris Wu is gonna be there," and she's like, "No." And then December 5th of 2020, DMZ gets a text from Chris's agent, and she's like, "Chris wants you to be the new leading role in his music video." Okay, now she's like, "F the werewolves. I'm kind of interested. Can you blame her?" Like
Really? Like, oh yeah, I don't want to hang out with these famous people, but I mean, if I get to be on this music video, then sure.
that's exciting. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. DMZ was expecting some sort of interview, some sort of process before the filming started because I'm sure he would want to meet her in person. But instead, the agent kept telling her that Chris Wu needs to meet you, yes, but he needs to meet you in his house because he's an A-list celebrity. He can't meet you in public. He doesn't want to be filmed. You have to meet at his house. Make sure that
Okay.
you're suitable for the role.
Obviously, weird. Possibly not good.
DMZ was a little confused because why can't it be like an office or something? You know, she's a little bit nervous, but she thought it's still such a rare opportunity. And let's be real, this is an A-list celebrity. Why would any one of them risk their entire careers to do something shady? The agent is a woman, it'll be fine. She gets in the car, goes over to Chris's place, and instantly she feels better. The place was packed with a ton of people. Friends, entourage, people who worked for Chris, I don't know, but there were a ton of people there. But it was strange because the staff asked to take her phone. Oh yeah, she was
Okay.
nervous. She tried to reason that it made sense because, you know, what if she recorded something and leaked it?
Yeah, I mean, sure, that's what you'd assume is why they would want to take the phone, is so that she can't, you know, record this guy's house, take pictures of him or whatever. The problem is that puts any random person in a spot where, okay, they don't have a way to call for help if something happens. So if someone wants to do something bad to them, well, then you're just out of luck. If they want to kill you, you're out of luck.
So they took her phone. She continues into the apartment, and she found out very quickly, to her disappointment, it was not a work gathering,
Was he even there?
but it was a drinking party. DMZ was stressed. She didn't know a single person in that room. She's not really a drinker, and they're all pushing drinks on her aggressively. They kept saying things like, "You got a dream job to star in the music video. Don't you want to drink with your idol? Can't you?"
I mean, shouldn't be drinking, right? Any random drinks from random people.
You just do one shot with your idol? Like, you guys have to know each other before the music video just to take a shot. DMZ felt like she couldn't say no. So she drank a bit too much. She ended up throwing up and blacking out. And around 7 a.m., she woke up and she had sex with Chris Wu.
What? What? You can't just say that out of nowhere. Roll me back.
DMZ felt
I was kind of like out of it for a second, but
idol. Like, you guys have to know each other before the music video just to take a shot. DMZ felt like she couldn't say no. So she drank a bit too much. She ended up throwing up and blacking out.
she blacked out. Is you know, drugs involved in this, or she just like got so hammered that she blacked out?
And around 7 a.m., she woke up and she had sex with Chris Wu.
See, I feel like she phrased that not right. That she woke up and found out that she did have relations with Wu. Not because the way she's phrasing it is that she woke up at 7 and then decided to have relations with Wu. I mean, not necessarily just she decided to. It's just at 7 she woke up and had relations. I'm assuming the relations happened while she was like passed out or before this, not she got up at 7 and then had relations. Does she remember having relations? Like, I feel like that phrasing kind of like isn't enough. We need like more context into that because that's a weird way to phrase things.
Okay.
She fell back asleep and
Okay, so no, she did wake up, had relations, went back to sleep.
then woke up again in a daze. So if she woke up again in a daze, it's speculated that she probably wasn't that super coherent when she engaged in sexual activity with Chris Wu. She said that she stared at the ceiling in bed for a while. She couldn't believe what just happened. Chris is laying next to her and everything felt just like a blur. She just wanted to get her clothes and run home and puke. She tried to get out of the bedroom as quietly as possible to not wake up Chris, but instead, Chris's cousin was sleeping in the living room. And basically, like, she couldn't get out without waking this person up. It was really uncomfortable. So this person is pertinent later. So now
Okay, don't forget about the cousin.
DMZ can't leave. She just has to wait in Chris's bedroom until the cousin wakes up so she could get out of there. She just said that she awkwardly stood in there for a while because she was just in so much shock. And Chris woke up and asked her, "Why are you standing?" He pulls her back into bed. She's clearly confused. And he tries to calm her down by saying, mind you, this is the first time they've ever met each other. This is the first time they've ever even spoken to each other. He said, "Be my girlfriend. I'll be responsible for you. I'll love you, take care of you for the rest of your life. I'll take you to meet my mom on Chinese New Year. I can help you with your career."
Okay, is this just the, I don't know, the spiel that he gives to everybody, like the previous girl, the baby-faced girl? Like, is this just his line that he gives to everybody? I mean, it's kind of like, I feel like he would have said it before, so he could have got her into bed and then just thrown her to the wolves. But seems like that happened beforehand, and now he's giving the spiel now.
He essentially love bombed her. Now, to give you some perspective,
Yeah, he's kind of like overloading her with information there. I mean, she just said love bombing, but there's something else I wanted to say about that. Like, I don't know what his angle is. Like, obviously, he doesn't actually care. I think he just saw pretty girl and was like, I want this one, and that's how we got to this point.
she's 18 at this point. She had like just turned 18 and she's young and he's showering her with praise, attention. This is
And Chris was already what?
like almost 30, I think.
Almost 30. Yeah.
So just the age difference is a huge power imbalance, but think about the true power imbalance. A-list celebrity, the money, influence, fame, power that he had. He essentially love bombed her. And from even just a normal person, being love bombed is a lot. But coming from the hottest celebrity in the nation, I mean, just think about the psychological confusion that she probably had. DMZ said that she genuinely believed that Chris wanted to date her. And the two added each other on WeChat. She was so excited. You know, that was a scary, confusing night, yes. But now in her mind, she was at least convincing herself that it was the start of a love story, right?
Yeah, I mean, you assume that if you're like young enough, and she is, like, she's still incredibly young, still has teen in her age. If you want to go there, her brain's not fully developed. She's not 25 yet, so she's still not firing off on all cylinders yet. So she could easily be manipulated by this guy, which is what we're assuming is happening. But where is this going to go to him ending up 13 years in prison? Because I feel like if to get 13 years in prison, you got to do a lot of bad stuff.
Which, I mean, I can totally see that. I don't know why so many people come for this poor girl. Like, it's beyond me. Just imagine your dream crush who happens to be a celebrity starts showering you with love. Like, it's toxic and there's no way to even help yourself but fall for it. Honestly, Chris would even bring her around to his friends to make her feel special, make her feel like they were the real deal. And
What did he want out of this, though? Like, what is he trying to get out of this?
His friends were probably like, oh, he never brings girls around. Like, you're different. And for her birthday, he transferred her $5,000 to buy whatever she wanted, which DMZ felt super loved. But side note, DMZ came from a well-off family and she had a monthly living allowance of nearly $15,000.
So I was gonna say, like, if you have like a rich boyfriend or rich significant other, and they give you like 5,000, would you really feel that special? I'm not saying anything about like, oh, it's just like if you're both rich, there's kind of like this whole thing. I feel like with how rich people think, where like you need to be giving like an equal, like not equal, but like a large amount. So she's saying like she's getting 15,000 a month, possibly just from her parents. Question mark? Is that what's being said here? So 5,000 is not even like it's literally a third of that. So I feel like I'm not saying that should mean anything. Like if you don't get anybody, I think it's fine to not give something to someone you like other than like love or something meaningful. You don't have to give them $1 billion, right? Like money doesn't have to matter. But it just seemed like, oh yeah, here's $5,000. It could feel weird, but also if you are really rich, $5,000 might seem like $5 is what I'm trying to say. It's the perspective of the people, and if you are making so much money, that might just feel like you're being handed $5.
So she's not a gold digger. She's not like out here trying to take him for his pennies and his, money. It's not like she was holding on to him to survive, which is a thing because people think that she was out for money.
Yeah, I'm not assuming she wants anything other than to be with him. We're trying to figure out what he's trying to do.
She genuinely thought that they were dating, and she genuinely thought that he was falling in love with her because he was basically telling her that nonstop. But of course, everything had to be a secret. Nobody could know that they were dating because, the industry. So after a few months of secretly dating, radio silence, she gets ghosted. Just straight up ghosted. And then
Why?
Chris Wu was photographed by the media with another girl. May 28th of 2021, Chris Wu was allegedly spotted on a date with a girl in a movie theater that he had booked out the whole theater. There's CCTV footage of them walking in together, walking out together, and even just sitting in the movie theater, just them two. Immediately, his team responded. They were pissed. They called out the theater for violating Chris's privacy, but they also said that Chris had booked the whole theater for a private showing for all of his friends, and the security footage was taken at a convenient time when the other friends hadn't joined them yet, because they all came at separate times. Wow. They said that someone edited the footage to make it seem like something it wasn't. The movie theater company issued a formal apology for violating the privacy of Chris Wu. They said the employee has been taken care of. Probably they were fired.
Yeah, I mean, what else would it be other than them being fired?
But also, they threw some tea into the fire. They said, by the way, nothing was edited. Goodbye.
Oof.
Wow. So, yeah, wow. That was another dating scandal. But then there was another one, like almost immediately after. Netizens found an influencer who had just turned 18 years old, and she was wearing a necklace, and it seemed like the one that Chris Wu had been wearing just recently.
Okay. Is it something you just naturally buy? If so, that doesn't mean anything technically, but if it does mean something, it seems like he does have a specific age group that he goes after. I think I mentioned before, is it Leonardo DiCaprio? Is that the one everyone jokes about? Who he always breaks up with his girlfriends by the time they turn 25. Like, he can't count over 25, so he only dates between, I guess, it would be 18 and 24. The moment they turn 25, they get dumped and he finds a new one, right? That's Leo, right?
And I guess it's like a very special type of necklace, like not a very common one that you can just buy.
Even though Leo's probably like a senior citizen now too, right? He's probably like 50. He can't be as old as Tom Cruise, I would assume. He has to be way younger. He's probably like 40 or 50 now, right? Yeah, he's 50 on the dot, so he's just middle-aged, getting late in the years, I guess. I wouldn't call him a senior citizen. I'm being hyperbolic when I'm calling Tom Cruise a senior citizen, but I mean, again, I think he is legally allowed to get Social Security at his age at this point, so, I mean, that basically makes you elderly. But going back to Tom Cruise, though, if you want to go back to that conspiracy, I think the conspiracy has to do with the fact, is it Katie? Is that who he was? Who he was with back then? And then like that's supposed to be like the conspiracy. Like that breakup with her, whoever his like that girl that he jumped on the couch for back in the day. Like that breakup broke him so much that he's doing all these um Mission Impossible movies into his old age as like an attempt to just like exit. Uh, like he's still doing it and getting away with it, but he's just I don't know. Maybe you understand what I'm saying.
And it became a whole thing. And it made sense because she was completely his vibe. She was pretty, just freshly turned 18. Super innocent, very pale. Apparently he liked pale girls. And there was
Reference.
a rumor that he was dating her too. And the whole time, DMZ is just on the side reading all the news and she feels utterly gutted. She felt depressed after he ghosted her. I mean, she went from being in her own fairy tale, being love bombed by him, and being told that she was special and they were soulmates to radio silence. She felt like she did something wrong, like it was her fault in some way, or she wasn't good enough in some aspect. DMZ's friends said that she went from being someone who was always on top of her grades, like top of her class, and now she couldn't even get out of bed to go to school anymore. It was a lot. It was actually her friend who ousted all of this to the public. Her friend took screenshots from DMZ's phone of Chris Wu with DMZ's permission and all of their conversations, even Chris Wu sending her selfies, and shared the whole story with the whole world of how DMZ went to his house for, you know, a music video audition, and then they had sex, and then he love bombed her, and then now she ghosted her, and the shock was instant. Everyone was confused. I mean, what? There's even a selfie that Chris texted her that had never been posted on the internet before, so, I mean, it had to be him, right? Well, his team responded the next day saying that...
I was like, what are they going to say? They're going to say this is fake? We got deep fakes? I don't think we've heard the term deep fake used in one of these videos yet. But if you don't know what a deep fake is, it's just like superimposing someone's face onto someone else's body to, like via AI, to make it seem like it's something they're doing or saying or what have you, which of course that kind of tech is only going to get worse and worse as time goes by, so be appreciative that you don't have to deal with that just quite yet. I mean, you can see it here and there from time to time, I'm pretty sure, but like eventually it could be really bad to where you don't know if anything is real anymore. Because it's just so easy to deepfake that there's just like literally no reason to believe any footage that you ever see. Like we are heading to that kind of scenario with the tech that we're making with AI and all that nonsense.
That DMZ needed to take the whole thing down because they were planning to file a lawsuit for infringing content. DMZ responded that she wasn't scared of being sued. She was over it now.
I mean, she's rich, so she doesn't have to care.
This is where things start getting crazy. This is where
Again, how does this end up going into 13 years in jail, though?
things start heating up. Everyone is confused. What the fork is going on?
Is it going to turn into like a Burning Sun situation where he just does this to so many girls, like drugs them and then love bombs them, and then throws them to the trash?
Everyone wants to know the tea, but just like Luna, everyone starts accusing DMZ of just doing this all for attention. Some people even commented on her socials, Chris Wu likes you. Has he ever seen you without makeup? All you're thinking about is growing a following and trying to trend on the news. You want to be famous so bad that you're going crazy. All of this for money, really? Chris Wu used this PR moment to promote his new song, and he wrote a cryptic tweet that said, "No snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible." Before you think the guy is smart. It's actually a famous line from a Polish poet, so he didn't come up with it.
Sure. Also gotta keep remembering that this guy technically is like a K-pop boy, even though he is Chinese, question mark, and is from China. We do have to be worried about the K-pop stans, which is what is happening to this love interest. Well, not necessarily love interest, but fake love interest that he had. She's being attacked by the stans.
But it's like saying that everyone is responsible when an avalanche happens, meaning if someone gets in...
Is that how she pronounces it? Avalanche? Instead of avalanche? I guess maybe saying avalanche is kind of southern. I haven't heard it ever pronounced avalanche or however the heck she's saying it. Since, again, I am in Texas, and I don't really let the southern tone question mark come out that often question mark, I would assume. Especially with this tone of voice, it's harder to have any twang added to the voice, but I feel like avalanche, avalanche is maybe a more of a South way of saying it. I don't know, but again, I've never heard whatever the heck she's saying. I have not heard avalanche being spoken that way. I have to like change the way I'm speaking, actually, to say avalanche, avalanche, or whatever. It just sounds weird, or whatever.
Correctly canceled off of fake news, then every single person who left a comment or pushed a narrative is responsible, even if they don't feel like they're responsible because they're just a regular person with no following and they're not media outlets. But yeah, Chris is basically saying that every commenter, every netizen that is throwing fuel to the fire is guilty and responsible. And
Okay, I mean, you can't sue everybody.
then more news.
Can't sue the world.
July of 2022 is a busy month. DMZ alleged that Chris
Wait.
had a... July of 2022 is a busy
Okay, she said 2022, but we have July 2021 here.
month. DMZ alleged that Chris had a special WeChat account that was specifically used to add underage girls. He had a middleman choose them on the internet, and they had to fit this strict criteria. And once you listen to this, you're gonna gag. You're gonna want this man behind bars.
Is this where we're gonna go? I was wondering if that's where we were heading, since again he seems to like them young, but it seems like he's going past the threshold.
He wanted only 18-year-olds, girls that were specifically born after the year 2000. And he would consider underage girls who were going to take the college entrance exam soon, meaning they were going to turn 18 soon. Allegedly. After that, he would have his agent invite the girls over under the premise of having them feature in his music video. Then they would push all the drinks onto this girl, DMZ said, and then he would take his chance to sexually assault these girls.
Okay, so that is the gimmick. It's the burning. We're burning sunning again, right? We're just taking our pickings of whoever we want, inviting them over, drug, and then assault, and then throw them to the trash.
And tell them tender words afterwards so that they don't report it, like, I will be responsible for you. Things like that. DMZ said she was exposing it all now because she said, I wanted to face everything bravely and live a new life, but now you let your fans harass and attack me. Don't be fooled by this perfect person in front of you. Deceived young girls, look at the facts. And sure enough, more and more girls started to come forward with similar stories about Chris Wu. DMZ said the number of victims may have exceeded 12. Already 8 victims have reached out to me, including 2 underage girls. DMZ said that she was bringing all of this to the internet because she wanted everyone to see Chris's true colors and not be fooled by this guy. This way, he can't hurt any more young girls. She said all the girls, all the victims just want a simple and sincere apology. Why is that so difficult? I don't think I have to put up with it anymore. Just wait and see. In a few days, the same victims will report to the police with evidence. So she's basically threatening, not threatening in the sense that like threatening, but like, hey, you need to take accountability, otherwise we're going to force you to take accountability for your crimes. The pressure, the drama, the allegations, I mean, they were amping up. DMZ accepted an exclusive interview with a media outlet, and she said that she had evidence that she was ready to file into a police report after sorting everything out, and she said that this evidence could put him behind bars for a really long time.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Are we talking about him doing stuff with underage people? Does she just talk about this whole entire, like, scoop him up, drug him, assault him scheme, or what? Like, what is it going to be? Because we still don't know exactly why this guy got 13 years. Also, this is kind of bothering me. You see this? Oh, Jesus. Like, again, this not... It's really hard to use this in this position. I cannot draw that line. It's not... There we go. This right there, this hanging off the table like this is kind of like, I assume that would drive people's OCD crazy because it's kind of bothered me. Like, why is it hanging off the table so it can fall down onto the ground? Can y'all scoot this over back onto the table, please, so that it's not hanging off the edge, ready to fall over? Easily being caught by the stick there. Anyways, what is this info that she has?
She also talked about the death threats and harassment that she received online. I mean, it was brutal. Chris's friends would say some pretty vile things like, didn't you say that you were depressed? Why don't you go yourself? Why don't you just call the police then? Are you scared that you have no evidence? Another commenter wrote, are you just a whore that anyone can sleep with? Someone wrote, what's the point of being alive? You're way too ugly to make this much drama happen. I hope you die soon.
Are we saying these are the stands? I mean, I'd expect this out of stands, I guess.
Chris's fans still supported him, and at this point in time, he had a lot more supporters than haters. But as the screenshots come rolling in, the group becomes smaller and smaller, and they would say things like, she just wants to be famous. We gotta support Chris Wu in defending his rights, because regardless of this guy, this woman is not a saint in the first place. They were straight up saying things like, they can see right through DMZ, and they know that she just wants to be famous. I mean, she's doing the absolute most.
Isn't her family rich? Like, I don't think she really cares, right? That was what we said earlier. She doesn't care. She gets 15K allowance a month. Like, hello? Can someone give me 15K allowance a month, please? Anybody? Anybody watching this? 15K a month, please? Thank you.
But the rational Chris Wu fans, they tried to be impartial. They hoped that DMZ would go to the police, and if the allegations were true, then the police would hold Chris accountable, and they were disappointed that these allegations were coming out. But they were kind of waiting to see how things played out. They didn't want to jump the gun either, but they didn't want to sit there and hate on DMZ and defend Chris Wu. They were just trying to be rational. So it was a bit of a shock to everyone when the first news of a police report came out, and it was from Chris's mom. Chris Wu's mom reported to the police that her son was being blackmailed by DMZ.
Okay, I was like, it had to be something in favor of him, so that makes sense.
Sorry, what? So naturally, everyone assumed, yeah, DMZ is probably blackmailing them for money. For 2 days, it was pure chaos before DMZ responded to the allegations by saying she had been connected with other victims of Chris's, and they said that they had all been depressed, self-harming, some of them had abortions, some of them had contracted STDs. She
From Chris?
confirmed to the public that she had filed a police report already, and she posted screenshots of her conversations with Chris Wu's team talking about money. So she's trying to be as transparent as possible, it seems. The truth is, yeah, she did talk to Chris's team about money. At first, Chris's team wanted to ask her, what do you want? Like, what do you want to take all of this down? What do you want to make this go away? And she wrote that she just wanted a public apology and for him to stop hiring spam accounts to smear her reputation.
Were they spam accounts or were they just like crazy stands? Because I guess you can't really tell, right? But I assume it's just the stands just going nuts, as stands tend to do.
Responded that they never hired spam accounts and that he would never publicly apologize. It was impossible.
Okay, I mean, you could at least say, like, why do you not want to apologize? Because I guess apologizing admits guilt, and they don't want to admit guilt. They'd rather just fight it out, I guess.
Instead, they hoped that they could all reach a financial agreement. So DMZ did. She asked them for $1 million.
Okay. Now it's kind of weird. You want $1 million?
She said that she was going to split it with 8 other victims, so that's 9 people splitting $1 million. And they hit her back with, we can do 140,000.
140,000. I mean, what, 14% of that?
With the condition that you delete all of your posts and post an apology letter that you keep up for at least 24 hours.
It's like, you know, we'll give you the money if you say you're sorry and delete everything.
It's crazy because $1 million is literally nothing to Chris.
Yeah, so
nothing.
Google says he's worth $9 million. He's not. He's probably worth at least 100 million, if not more.
Way more.
Yeah, based on the crazy deals that he was getting in China. So, okay, the reason I know that he's worth more is because later he actually gets fined by the Chinese government for tax evasion, and they fined him $85 million. I'm assuming
that means you have to make way more than that to be
fined $85 million for tax evasion.
For tax, yeah.
So the guy made more than 85 million freaking dollars, okay? He's got a lot of money. So $1 million really is nothing to keep his career, and I'm not saying that he should be doing this. I'm just saying it's on top of all of this. He's also a cheap ass. Like what?
Yeah, I think that's just normal to try to haggle for money like that. Yeah, he's being cheap, and people like this are always being cheap. We're not saying he's a good guy, just I think normally that's just how people are, right? Like, okay, you want 1 million, I'll give you 10, and then they possibly expect them to take it, or they expect, okay, like they're hoping that the person then further like raises it, but still less than 1 million. Like, so let's say she would say 500,000. It's like, okay, we can do 2,500, and then she'll be like, okay, we can do no, I'll take 300,000, take it or leave it, and then like, okay, 300,000. I'm assuming that's what they expected, and that's what you typically expect when you're dealing with like chunks of money being ultimated at you. Is that a word, ultimated? Because you're making an ultimatum, like, give me this money or else. So you're haggling the ultimatum down.
What? They said $140,000. She's like, okay, maybe closer to like 400,000 because.
See what I mean? Like, they lowball you so that you can be like, okay, I'll take this much minus apology.
That's a lot of victims that we're splitting it amongst, and like none of us really have jobs because we all can't function like normal human beings because we're depressed and anxious. But they were like, we'll think about it. But you need to admit that you're wrong, and you need to admit that Chris Wu did not engage in sexual activity with underage girls. And DMZ was pissed about that. She wrote in the text messages, I'm the one that was hurt, why should I apologize? And the person was like, just make the promise. What else can you get if you end up getting no money? There were more negotiations until they finally settled on $300,000 with a written guarantee, a contract, if you will. The staff even kindly provided her with an apology template for her to use and post online. It goes as follows. I was acting on impulse when I posted those things. I was hurt. I believed articles that weren't verified, but my suffering was true. It's been a few days, and I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want people to say that I'm looking for attention anymore. I'm exhausted. Let's just all settle down now. DMZ agreed, but she said that she wanted to add that Chris has already privately apologized to her.
Okay, so she added that he apologized, which might not be what they want. Also, I noticed that OBS has crashed. This happens last time. It's been like an hour. Is it just like when I record too long? Does it just crash naturally? It seems like the audio is still going, so I don't think I have to worry about it. Like, OBS is still telling me the audio is being recorded, so I'm just going to ignore that for now. I'll keep looking over there to make sure everything's fine, though.
This was a huge point of contention for her. Chris's team did not want that. They
Yep,
did not.
that's what I thought. Like, they do not want any guilt to be thrown at him, which means they're probably going to throw this out the window and all heck's going to break loose, right?
Want any admission of guilt or
That's what I was trying to think of. Like, admission of guilt is what I was looking for specifically.
any apology, but DMZ wanted to include it. It almost cut the whole deal off. Chris's team demanded another line be added into her statement, and it would read, I have received an apology in private. It is untrue that he chose concubines and pressured girls to drink and have sex with minors.
Throwing in the word concubine in the year 2021? Question mark. She said 2022, but I'm pretty sure the text, post-text, I'd assume would be more accurate because it has more time to think about what the actual year was. So we're talking about 2021. We're using the word concubine. What?
The reason why I posted those things was because I was hurt. People's interpretation is becoming further and further from the truth. Some even allege that he girls. I don't want to waste public resources anymore. I don't want to be told I'm looking for attention. I've let it go. I want to start my life over. Be at peace with each other. I hope everyone understands. DMZ refused. She wanted to add either the words, he knows what he did, or he already apologized in private. The two sides went back and forth on this whole apology, and finally they found a middle ground.
Okay.
She would post the apology, and then I think later she would maybe cryptically post that he apologized. But it was like $300,000 that they settled on, right? But she was going to get $70,000, and then she would have to sign a formal agreement, and then she would get the rest of the money. So it would come in batches. And now, no statement she released would ever be taken seriously if it was similar to that, because she posted all the text messages between her and Chris's team. Because Chris's mom accused her of blackmailing them for money. So technically this was all going on behind the scenes, but then Chris's mom went to the police and was like, we're getting blackmailed by this girl. So the police were like, we're investigating about these blackmail claims. So then DMZ was like, oh yeah? Okay, fine. I'm not gonna get accused of blackmail. Let me post these screenshots.
Oh, these text messages,
Yeah.
the negotiation of the money.
Yeah.
She just exposed it all.
Before even posting that statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just
So-
to show people what they're trying to
Yes.
hide. Yes.
So she had gotten $70,000, or she had already gotten the $70,000, but she was supposed to sign the contract, then post the statement, and then get the rest of the money, right?
Okay, so we're saying that they came to an agreement, they gave her some money, then she's supposed to sign it to get the rest in waves, but they went to the police saying she's blackmailing them before she actually signed all this, and she's like, okay, screw it, I got some money, I got 70K, which again, from what Stephanie says, this girl already gets 15K a month, so I feel like the 70,000 doesn't really matter. But she already got the 70,000. Might as well just completely throw them under the bus now and show them that okay, they're actually doing a lot of bad stuff. I don't know if she's saying that she showed the world the texts about them like coming to this agreement, or she's showing the text of like all the bad stuff that he's doing, or like both of them, like both of those things. This agreement they're coming to and the bad stuff.
Well, she had exposed all of these text messages about the negotiations
Okay, so it's just the negotiations.
after she had gotten the $70,000, but before she signed the contract. So people were confused. They're like, so you are blackmailing him for money? Like, what's going on? DMZ explained the money wasn't just for her. It was her and 8 other
Yeah, she's saying she's going to give it to other people, so. Because she doesn't really need the money, so I assume she probably might just give it all to the other people.
victims, and they had all been depending on their families for their livelihoods. They had burned through their savings. They weren't going to work. I mean, this was compensation for them. It was going to be split between 9 people just to help them get back on their feet. And it's not like Chris Wu would have missed the money. She said that he was loaded and she knew it. I mean, if you Google it, like I said, it's going to say 9 million, but a lot of people in China believe it's closer to like 400 million. He truly is killing it, or was killing it. So you think $300,000 is even a lot for this guy when it's just for these victims, for these girls to get their life back together? So truly, her request was not much for 9 irrevocably traumatized people. So anyway, the team agreed and they said that they would be transferring her the money in batches. She got the $70,000. She posted these receipts. Now the $70,000 came from 2 different bank accounts. One was under Chris's name and the other one was under Chris Wu's mom's name.
I was going to expect that it would be from his mom.
So
On top of that.
the mommy is still out here cleaning up his messes. And then after posting this, DMZ took the contract that Chris's team had given her to sign. Remember, she had to sign it to get the rest of the money. Went to a lawyer. She hadn't gone to a lawyer prior to this.
Did she not read it? Is she getting the lawyer to read this out to make sure she doesn't get screwed over? Is that what we're about to hear?
And this lawyer was like, pump the brakes.
Okay, what could this thing possibly say? And is this what's going to get him thrown in jail for 13 years? Because how like horrendous this contract is.
Because this contract that they sent you, basically, you're admitting to blackmail, extortion, and coercion, and they could take this contract, go to the police because you signed it. You're basically admitting to committing crimes, and you could have been thrown in jail for 10 years.
Like, oof. Like, so good thing she did that. Because I guess, I don't know if I would have ever thought of that, but to have a contract that, is that actually, I mean, the lawyer's saying it's legal. To be like, hey, she hand signed the fact that she is admitting to doing all these things. So yeah, throw her in the slammer.
They were basically asking for her to sign a confession. The other side would have used this as evidence. And if you're like, okay, well, why didn't she read the contract? She did. It's very complicated legal contracts. And she's 18 years old. She like, remember when you're 18? Like, I was so scared of I'm still so scared of legal contracts. 18? So she posts the contract and everyone is spitting out their coffee. Like, netizens are like, if you signed this contract, they would have fucked you up. You probably would have gone to prison. I mean, why would they even send you this contract unless that's what they wanted to do?
I was like, can you go to prison for trying to get someone to sign something like that?
So the netizens were arguing, but hold on to your arms on this one because it gets really wild. Like, really, really wild. There is a scammer in the mix.
Okay. Don't tell me it's fraud again.
I'm gonna come back to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's just like
So-
leaving that, putting a pin in that for later, I guess. Because like again, like last time for the 630 years, he got in trouble for fraud, quote unquote fraud. Is this what this is going to be? Like really 13 years, and it's just going to come down to fraud?
Just keep this in mind. These conversations do not end here. This whole blackmail thing does not end here. Just wait till a little later. DMZ is fed up. She said, "We don't want any compensation anymore, so don't come to us with that. We want justice." She also showed proof that her physical and mental health had deteriorated. She was diagnosed with anxiety, depression. She was receiving electroshock therapy for that. Her health scores were really low in terms of stress, fatigue, insomnia. And then, July 2021, DMZ posted a long article exposing how Chris Wu lures the girls. So it's like a step-by-step of how he does it.
This timeline is so weird. She said July 2021. When this all started, it was July. We haven't accelerated past out of July. Everything we've been hearing for like a while now is just all still July.
Using an excuse looking for an actress in the studio. The team selects beautiful fans, and sometimes, if successful, he ends up sleeping with them. He will allegedly even give out rewards of $1,500 to whatever employees set him up. Step 2. Invite the girl to a night drinking party at his house. Pressure her to drink. If she wants to leave, Chris's agent will threaten to destroy her career.
What?
Step 3. He will let his cousin threaten the girl if she tries to leave and tell the police. That's why he sleeps in the living room.
Okay, so we have a whole system here. It's not just... How did she figure this out to begin with? But it's not just invite them over to do whatever. It's just completely unthought out. Like there's a whole system here. We got threateners, we got the cousin here is going to be here every time as like a bouncer that stops them from leaving, like a reverse bouncer, I'm guessing. I guess the agent also kind of acts like a reverse bouncer. Who's going to get her wasted though? Who's doing the narcotics? It has to be narcotics,
While Chris
right?
and the girl are in the bedroom, his cousin is going to make sure that nothing happens in the living room, like she doesn't escape. Chris will soften up the girl to make sure that she doesn't go to the police by saying things like, "I only like you, I'm only here for you, I want you to meet my mother." Like he said that to every girl. And he would always use the next upcoming holiday. So
And it makes sense that if people know about him and they know about his like mama's boy thing that he said on live TV, right? They would immediately think, oh, well, he said on live TV that he needs to get approval from his mother. So him saying that he wants to show me to his mom means a lot. Obviously, just for manipulation tactics, though.
So sometimes it was, "I want you to meet my mom for Chinese New Year. I want you to meet my mom for Mooncake Festival. I want you to meet my mom for Christmas." It was like whatever the next holiday was. It was also exposed that allegedly he would say some really, really weird stuff before he engaged in sexual activity.
What could it be? I have no clue.
A lot of girls corroborated this story that he would say,
What could it be that it's so weird? Like literally what in the world is he going to be telling these people?
and apparently this is like a routine for him, he would say to the victim before penetration,
She is like hanging onto this whole time. She does not want to say this. It can't be that bad.
"I'm very big. Hang in there for a second."
Like I just like cringe.
And after finishing 2 to 3 minutes later, he would look for validation from the girl and he would ask, "How was it? Am I good? Aren't I big? Every one of my exes said I was too big." Yeah. Yeah. And like, I know it's not funny in the context, but the internet really had a field day with this one. Even the victims were making fun of him. DMZ said, "Women are willing to lie to you when they love you." And she suggested that he needs to change his name to Toothpick Woo. Because the feeling of intercourse with him is like sticking a toothpick in your nose.
They did not just use the chicken thing for his laugh. Get that back on the screen.
It's
That
like
chicken.
sticking a toothpick in your nose.
Okay, that's a good joke. The chicken there. That could have got me a long time ago. This chicken, this stupid chicken. If you know what these chickens sound like, that was kind of on point with his laughter. Yeah, I guess that's how we got the toothpick nickname.
Oh my
Yeah.
Savage.
This would be a good time to bring up some of his alleged text messages that he sent to girls. And buckle up because it's cringe town now.
Yeah, so he's just a complete cringe lord. That's not anything too crazy. I feel like you see a lot of guys online trying to say stuff like that. So I'm not too surprised at what he was saying, but that is just so cringe. Like, how are you not humiliated saying that kind of stuff?
A woman came forward to expose messages between her and Chris. Chris kept telling her, he's nearly 30 at this point, that he's looking for a serious relationship and he just wanted to find someone to love and marry. He's
Okay, sure.
looking for a clean girl with a good, obedient personality.
Okay. That's a new word that he's added to his catalog of words. Before it was just like, what? Angelic, clean, etc. Which, again, I could just argue that he was trying to say someone who has not had relations, but I think we're trying to get closer to someone who is just a good... Lapdog's not the right word, but we'll use the word lapdog. Usually, I feel like you would use like a lapdog for like a guy, but we'll just use it for here for like lack of a better word.
Oh my god.
Anyway, he continued that he fell in love with her at first sight through her pictures because, get this, her figure, her personality, and her light skin is exactly what he was looking for. At this point, the two hadn't even met yet, and he's doing all of this.
He's Chinese, so that's kind of ingrained in the society. So you're probably hearing that and be like, oh, that's racist. But that's sure, but I don't really care about that kind of stuff. Again, I'm half black. I don't really care if you have a preference for skin. That's whatever. But I believe that in Chinese culture, dark skin is considered dirty. Don't hold me to that, but that's kind of just what I've heard. I know people who like that are from China. I tangentially know people from China who corroborate that kind of thing. But yeah, the darker your skin, the more it's considered to be dirty and like a symbol of poverty. So I'm pretty sure that's where that's coming from for him. Like, because he's Chinese, so I'm assuming it's just a societal thing that he has been taught since birth. Is like darker skin equals dirty, which dirty equals poverty. So that's why you might see or hear about like Chinese being racist to like black people or whatever. Like, just because of that kind of like ingrained societal thought that dark skin equals poverty. So I'm assuming that's where that's coming from. If you just hear that and it's like, oh, that's crazy. So I don't necessarily think it's it's just a I said preference earlier, but it's not just a preference. I think it's just his heritage, his culture, that has brought him to this I like pale skin thing. Because I'm assuming the paler you are, the more like, I don't know, the opposite word of poverty is rich. I hit the mic there, my bad. The more, I don't know, rich you are, the more angelic. He's using the word angelic, so let's use the word angelic. The more angelic you are, the less dark skin you are. So I think that's what's happening there with the constant talking about pale skin. It's a cultural thing.
He also asked her, are you single? Did you ever have sex before? And then he let...
There's the need to be inactive, because again, all those other things, the angelic, pure, yada yada, I'm pretty sure had to do with like not having had relations before. And again, like I said, we just went on that whole tangent there. The pale skin I'm assuming has to do with the fact of just the cultural thing of pale equal good, dark skin equal poverty.
Lectured her. A girl's first time is very important. Don't give it to a boy easily.
Oh my god.
You know,
Trying to like butter her up, make it seem like he's the one to give it to, since he's like saying it's important. and not telling her to just give it to him.
Men's capability is more important, so his first time doesn't really matter to him at all. Anyway, she said that they would eventually meet at a hotel, and it was a lot. He kept pushing drinks on her. He tried to feed her with his mouth, like...
Ew.
And then she rejected him, and then he tried to grab her boob. And she rejected him again, and thankfully she was coherent because she had a high alcohol tolerance, which I guess he wasn't expecting. So
I guess she's just like out drinking all the time.
she's like, I'm still not tipsy, and you're a creep. Another girl came forward, and she posted alleged text messages between them, and he wrote, "Silly Piggly, I've always wanted to ask you a question. Will you hurt me? Like, one day, if we're not together anymore, will you hurt me?" And she responded with crying emoji and hit him with the, "Are you dumb?" Because it's really dumb. Who writes that? And he wrote, "Ha ha ha ha. Okay, baby. The reason I ask is because I'm scared. I've been hurt before. That's why I asked." In another conversation, he allegedly wrote, "Baby, can you keep me company today? I can't sleep without you."
So this is kind of stuff that you would argue you would be saying to people when you're like a teenager, and we are talking technically about teenagers, but they're 18. I still count that. That kind of stuff you would be saying. I mean, you could probably say this stuff as adults too, but someone you're actually in a relationship who loves you, they'd probably find it fine, romantic even in certain scenarios. But if we rewind the timeline again, let's remember that this guy, as a kid, went from China to Canada, to China to Canada, to Korea to China. And so his life kind of got like screwed over as a child. And then he like dropped everything to become a K-pop boy. And then I'm assuming still as like a kid. And so you could argue that he still has the mentality of a teenager. He like never grew up. That's not I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying that's probably why he acts this way, is because he's still a teenager at heart. He's still just a kid.
Came home from set. Can you
And that's why he's saying this cringy stuff. That's specifically what I'm saying. He's saying this cringy stuff because he's still talking like he's a teenager. Because he never got out of his teenage phase, which, sure.
keep me company? Very whiny, okay? Very whiny. So a lot of cringe. Now back to the crimes. DMZ said that Chris never wore condoms, never took any precautions, and finally, DMZ ended the article by giving Chris Wu an ultimatum. She said that she chose to disclose everything online instead of to the police because she wanted to hear an apology. But she said that she had information that would put him behind bars for 10 years. So
Okay, so did he do some underage stuff? And did he know? I mean, you could make an argument for whether or not he knew or not, and if that's fine or not. I mean, it's obviously not fine. It doesn't matter if you knew or not. You still go to jail. But I don't know. I just want to say, I'm just assuming he's going to know, right? That's what's going to be the big thing, which she should just say it, right? I know she's trying to be nice, if we can say that she's trying to be nice so that he doesn't get in trouble. But if he's done, illegal assaulting, then he should be, put in jail.
So her demand was that he hold a press.
But it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter what she wants. She should just tell the police anyways, because it is a crime. And I feel like technically she's saying, I have info that could put you in jail for 10 years. Doesn't that make her obstructing justice for not telling anybody? She's saying she has the information. She says she wants to release it, but she won't release it if she gives into her ultimatum. But theoretically, if he's doing, something as heinous as assaulting a minor, then I feel like she's going to be counted liable for that because she's interfering in justice, right? So she should just be like, okay, here, take it.
Conference within 24 hours, write an apology letter, and also announce his withdrawal from the entertainment industry.
Wow, trying to get him to stop doing entertainment. I mean, he's already rich, so does it matter? But
Otherwise, she would ruin him. DMZ said, I can ruin your reputation even if I don't reveal what happened to those girls. Hurry up and get ready, Mr. Wu. This is a battle. DMZ reflected on her whole life and she said, I clearly know that my life has been destroyed. Although I only had sex with Chris, the public thinks that I'm a whore. My future husband and mother-in-law will probably bring this up when we fight. Maybe my children will be called the child of a whore in school. Like, my life feels ruined, but I can't ruin the other victims. Because I, for one, am a human being. More women came forward, including one of Chris Wu's earliest reported girlfriends, and she just made a cryptic post that read, Justice after 7 years? Give it to me. Now, this is around the time that the police started to show interest in this case. CCP got to work, Chinese Communist Party. They hid the promotions of Chris Wu's new song as a precaution, and brands start dropping like flies.
wait, the CCP still exists? I mean, of course it does. Like, what am I talking about? Of course they do.
Till finally, Chris Wu lost all 15 of his major contracts.
Usually when it drops, it's overnight.
Yeah.
Everyone drops at the same time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It seemed that the only way to get Chris Wu to respond was to mess with his endorsements, because he finally posted a personal statement, which I'm sure was just read over nonstop by his entire team of lawyers and publicists, but you get it. It wasn't his team or his mom talking for him. He posted it, and I'm not sure if he wrote it.
Yeah, it's probably just like PR statement that was given to him. There's no way he wrote whatever the heck this is going to be.
But he wrote, I didn't respond before because I didn't want to interfere with the judicial system. But I didn't expect my silence would make rumor mongers more ruthless. I can't stand it anymore. I only met Miss Du once. No selection of women, no underage girls. If that did happen, please be assured that I will go to prison myself.
Okay. Well, you admitted that. I mean, you probably shouldn't have said that. Did the lawyers actually tell him to say this? Since I feel like that's a mission, right? That you just said, well, if you did any of those things, you will go to prison yourself. You said it, so okay, time to go to jail. No, as in, if we actually find out that that stuff happened, you are saying that you would go to jail.
People weren't really buying it at this point. A comment under his post told him to, and I quote, get lost. And that got 1 million likes.
I mean, okay.
People had gone up to dig all the prior red flags that they felt like they had missed. So remember the fashion show that he was on, or the reality fashion show?
It's called 4 Try. I
Yeah.
actually watched that one too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, basically, the reality series is Chris becoming a store manager at a pop-up clothing store in Tokyo that specializes in, like, Chinese streetwear. He has to run the store, basically, and he can't just be like, I'm Chris Wu, I'm gonna hire a bunch of people. Basically, it's watching him have a real job. Like, he has to do the merchandising, he has to do the store displays, marketing, like everything, and it's like the ups and downs. And his whole team of people, a lot of them would be celebrity guests. There would be other celebrities that were there that were help running this store. Angelababy being one of the most notable ones.
Again, I'm just not gonna know any of these people that just get name dropped here and there in these Chinaverse spotlights. Not even the Korean ones either. I don't know any of these people.
Anyway, there was another young guest celebrity on there. Her name was Zhao Jinmai.
Zhao Jingmai.
Yeah, she was 17 at the time. And during the show, Chris was showing a ton of attention to Zhao at the time. Zhao Jinmai?
Zhao Jingmai.
Yeah, she was 17 at the time.
Okay, well, that's not good.
And during the show, Chris was showing a ton of attention to Zhao. He's 29. She's 17.
Yeah, like we already established that he has a preference, quote unquote. A bad preference.
And alarmingly, she's exactly his type. So she has this cute, innocent vibe to her. And in one of the episodes, she's modeling their newest collection, which is like this pink puffer jacket. And the overall look is very cute, right?
Yeah.
Everyone around them is just complimenting her. And she's like, oh.
That is a puffer jacket. Like, Jesus Christ. It's so inflated. Is that normal?
The clothes look cute. You look good in that. Like, you look so good. You can pull off anything. Like, these are normal things to say to a 17-year-old trying on clothes.
Okay, what does he say? Some sort of creep fest stuff?
But Chris came in there, and he grabs her arm and is like,
Okay, weirdly touching her.
walking away from everyone else with her in tow.
He's gonna whisper to her.
And he says, and the translation is, "Wow, you look so adorable. Let's go. We're off work now. Let's go home."
实在太可爱了，
You look so adorable. Let's go. We are off work now.
我们回家，
Let's go
我
home.
要把它带走。
Okay, like,
I'm-
let's go home.
I'm taking
我们回家，我要把它带
I'm taking her away.
Okay, like, let's go home. I think, okay, in Korean, let's go home has a very sexual undertone. I don't know if it does in China. I don't know. But in Korea, like, when guys say, let's go home to their wives or girlfriends, it's usually, like, in the tone, like, this playful tone, it's like a, I can't wait to go home to rip your clothes off tone. Unless they're really mad. Then they're like, let's go home, you know? But no,
Okay.
it's weird. And he turns to everyone and he says, I'm gonna take her away now. Angela Baby butted in and said, your daughter?
Your daughter? Yeah.
So nobody thought anything of it then, but now looking back, it seems like Angela Baby maybe was trying to create distance between them, like trying to tell him, like, what are you saying? This girl is like young enough to be your daughter, you know that, right? Also, Chris created a nickname for Zhao, calling her Mai Mai, and Chris kept showing her a ton of attention, saying things like, Mai Mai, you need to wait for me to get back from running my errands. You promise? You promise? It was so strange that later, after Chris Wu left, Angela Baby and Zhao were talking together, and she told Zhao, hey, don't worry about Chris and his weird goodbye. Like, don't take it seriously. He's just being weird. Meaning probably, like, just go home. Chris kept trying to create opportunities for him to be alone with Zhao, and Angela Baby would very smoothly indicate that Zhao didn't want that, because it didn't look like she wanted it. In another episode, Chris turned off the lights and said that his plan was to play a haunted house game, and he starts trying to freak out Zhao, just like basically talking to her and saying things like, now imagine you're trapped here alone, Mai, and suddenly someone walks over like this, like a vampire or a zombie, and they're trying to touch you. And as he reaches closer and closer, Angela Baby goes, no touching, like nothing like that. Chris keeps going and he's like, and he's gonna get super close to you, and he keeps getting closer and closer, and Zhao clearly looks uncomfortable, and she like manages to dodge and tries to be smooth about it. And finally, when it was time for Zhao to leave the show, she drew a little cartoon on Chris's hand as like a show of friendship, right? The next day, her last day.
Okay. I feel like I know where this is going. Is he gonna get that tattooed on his arm, on his hands? Where is this gonna go? It has to be a tattoo, right? Did he get a tattoo? It's a tattoo. Yes? Or some sort of remembrance to it? Tell me it's a tattoo.
He still has the drawing on her hand, and it's not like she did it with like permanent marker. And even if it is, like,
Wait, what?
it has the drawing on her hand. Friendship, right? The next day, her last day, he still has the drawing on her hand, and it's
He sells it? I'm confused on what she's saying there.
not like she did it with like permanent marker. And even if it is, like, it washes off,
Oh,
right?
I think she's saying he still has the drawing on his hand. Okay. I thought it was like we're going to be way more serious and crazy than that. He just got it tattooed onto him. But I think she's just saying he still has it on her, so he didn't wash it off.
Right? And he straight up tells her he didn't want to wash his hands. He didn't want to wash it off. Everyone laughed it off, but Angela Baby genuinely looked kind of shocked and weirded out by it. Like, unbelievable. That was the vibe. So, I mean, it feels like he was really giving people the ick and doing some alarming things. But Chris kept going. He said that DMZ was lying and that they were going to take legal action. Meanwhile, his fan club was still supporting him. They showered him with support, loving messages. They would say things like, we absolutely support him. We believe the truth will come out. But the evidence against him was just piling up. A netizen from the US posted about a cocktail party she had been to in LA, 2019. It was a party at his hotel. His assistant and his friend were there, and they invited 7 to 8 girls over, and after several rounds of what they felt like was almost like screening, like eliminations, girls were sent home like one by one, and then there was just one girl left at the hotel.
Okay, and how old was she?
And she didn't have her phone because like all the other girls, their phones were taken from them. And the whole time the energy was just weird. The girls were constantly asked about their ages, and weirdly, he asked every girl to sing a song for them, like freestyle. And if they didn't sing or rap well, he would force them to drink. The poster also said that she remembered seeing a round medicine-like tablet at the party, but she had no idea if anyone was drugged.
Okay, again, we don't know how he got them like super intoxicated. Was it the roofies? Again, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that word, but
ended up leaving, but she learned that the last girl was essentially forced to stay and ended up engaging in sexual activity with Chris Wu. So finally, July
Was he forced?
22nd of
Okay, still July. So all this stuff, not what she was just saying now, but when we started this huge conversation like a million years ago over here somewhere, it was July 2021. And now we are still in July 2021, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was June, I don't know. Maybe I am misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure it was July. I doubt like I can find it in the scroll back, right? What do you have? What was that? There was some text there for a second. Oh, that's just like the big amount of money that he's worth. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to see where July was. We have May 28th. Okay, so maybe not, because we have May here. Okay, no, that it was just so yeah, July 2021. So even way back there, it was July, and now it's still July. All this commotion about him hooking up with DMZ, whatever the letters they're using for her name are. Him hooking up with her, and then all of the falling outs and the blackmail, the going to the police, and all that stuff is still all in July of 2021.
2021, the Beijing police released a statement and they said this. Like, they have been investigating, and they said Chris Wu did choose concubines by selecting women through his agents, and he did confiscate their phones when they were invited to his parties. He had.
What are we even saying the word concubine means in 2021? Yeah, so weird to just say concubine for these women. It's just like the literal definition is just a woman who cohabitates with like a man, I guess, or whoever, and gets involved with like sexual activities, but isn't a wife. As like, I mean, you mean like literally almost every relationship? So what are we using the word concubine here in this context?
Sex with DMZ, who was 18 at the time and not a minor. During the investigation, DMZ admitted that she initially wanted to expose him and maybe gain some attention from it. The article that DMZ wrote was written on her behalf by an online writer. The writer embellished some of the things written. Chris's mom reported to the police that they were being blackmailed by DMZ, but the truth of the investigation exposed that there was another party involved, one that was playing both sides.
Okay, so yeah, we put a pin in the scammer earlier, so that pin is coming out. So there's a scammer who was on both sides trying to screw them both over, and like a lot of this was just out of proportions because of the scammer. But I feel like that doesn't. He still gets 13, so it must not be that embellished.
The person that blackmailed Chris Wu was not DMZ.
Is it his mom?
But a stranger who had nothing to do with this, and his name was Liu, and he's 23 years old, and he had since been arrested. Let's talk about this whole thing. Remember how DMZ was asking for money, right, for all the victims to share?
Sure.
Okay. There's this guy, Liu, who had been watching all of this. He has no connection to any of these people. He doesn't have connections to the victims or to Chris and his team. He's just a regular, like, netizen. And he decided to make a fake account on WeChat and add DMZ, pretending to be a victim of Chris Wu.
That's what I'm expecting to see. Like, what else could he have done other than to pretend to be a victim?
He's impersonating a girl, impersonating to be a victim. He talked to her. DMZ opened up. She even sent him a few text messages between her and Chris that weren't released yet. This is important. He then used these text messages to create another fake account, pretending to be DMZ's personal account, like another side account of DMZ's, messaged Chris Wu's attorney and said, hey, look at the other messages that I have yet to release. Pay me money.
Wow.
And he, talking to Chris Wu's lawyer, settled on $500,000. And his plan was to get the money directly into his account, right? And that would be the end of it. But the lawyer said they needed DMZ's account with DMZ's name on it. So then he made another WeChat account and posed as Chris's attorney and messaged DMZ.
Or how he was just doing this so easy, just playing them so hard. I mean, he got arrested, so It didn't really work out for him in the end, but
and started fake negotiations with the DMZ, asking her, don't you want money from this, blah, blah, blah. So they reached a settlement after a ton of negotiation, which, side note, the contract that was super messed up that could potentially put DMZ in jail, that actually was from Chris's team.
That was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're really evil. They gave it to Lou thinking it was DMZ, and then Lou just forwarded it to DMZ because he did need her signature to get the rest of the money.
Yeah.
Because they too were going to give it in batches, right? So his plan was to give DMZ's account, but later for the rest of the money, because again, Chris's team is giving it in batches, after the signed contract, he was going to say, hey, actually, this is DMZ, but can you send it to like my friend's account instead or another victim's account instead? And then he would give his account. So he wouldn't get the full amount, but he would get something.
Playing very dangerous game here.
And so DMZ does get $70,000 in her account from Chris's team, but she refused to sign the agreement, so the rest wasn't coming to her.
yeah, so this guy kind of doesn't get anything. I mean, he gets caught, so it doesn't really matter. But
Now, Lou saw the
yeah, what is he gonna do?
perfect opportunity and told her, pretending to be Chris's attorney still catfishing her, and said, if you don't sign it, you gotta return the money. And he gave her his bank information to return the money. She returned it, and Lou made $70,000.
Okay, so and they don't know that she's done that, right? So
So freaking dumb. Like,
yeah, they don't know that she has done that unless she tells them that she returned the money. So he just gets away with it until he gets caught. But then we've already heard that he got caught, right? He's in jail, correct?
now your account is forever flagged.
Yeah, and he was arrested.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty easy to track money. So the police released all of this, and they also announced Chris Wu's allegations were still being investigated. At this point, even the authorities were fully involved, and all of this was coming to light. People were still on DMZ, saying that she just wanted fame, and they were annoyed because she gained like 5 million followers in 4 days. They said she finally achieved her goals, but does it really matter? You know, like, fine, yeah, she admitted to the police she did want a bit of attention at first, but still, victims don't act the way that you want them to. Like, I think a lot of victims, when you are victimized like that, you think, okay, fine, you know what, like, f this person, I hate this person, let's not be miserable. Let's try to find some lemonade in this situation, right? Like, there's no default energy that should come from victims, and I think it's very selfish for us to think that. So anyway, people were mad at her, but either way, DMZ putting herself out there and putting these allegations out there regardless of her original intention, a lot of victims came forward and they started to get justice. So it seemed like even DMZ didn't know how deep and how serious Chris's actions were. So maybe she just thought that this guy was ghosting her and love bombing her and just a toxic person and very predatory. But
Yeah, it just seems like it's a mini version of the Burning Sun, right? Just all for one dude. It's one dude's personal Burning Sun, essentially, is what this story is. Kind of culminated into. Which I guess that's why he's going to go for 13. It's crazy that he got 13, though, when the other K-pop boys in Korea only got, like, what, 5 at most, I think? Though, of course, different standards there. I guess, like, the standards are higher in China for this kind of stuff, especially if it was underage things going on, if he gets actually charged for that. I think we'll also have to see. There's still 7 minutes left of this video.
But she probably didn't realize the extent.
Yeah.
And then it became like, wow, this is actually so serious. A lot of people were really concerned that Chris had an obsession with young girls and purity. A lot of his fans were just so grossed out and disappointed in him. They felt so dirty for even supporting this guy to begin with. But, like, how can you even blame yourself for that? I think it's also good to see the good in people. So, like, I don't know. It just sucks. And then the agent, Fang Meng, let's be real. His agent is almost acting like a pimp, procuring these girls for him. It's just so bizarre. Like, she's really messed up too. July 31st of 2021, Chris...
July still refuses to be allowed to end. Like, we refuse to let July die. It just... hanging on for dear life. Like, finally it's going to be over, though, because it's the last day of July.
Chris Wu was detained in Beijing of suspicion of...
Also, oddly, it is July right now as we're watching this.
And even then, Chris still had fans. Yeah. Who would show up at the jail, but you can't do a meet and greet in jail?
I mean, we've already said this 100 times. It's just beating a dead horse at this point. It doesn't matter what you do. You will have simps, especially if you're attractive, or especially if you're a serial killer. You will have simps.
I don't know who didn't tell you that. Like, that's just bonkers.
And those things aren't mutually exclusive, question mark, but I mean, you can just be like an ugly serial killer, and I think you will still get simps and whatnot.
And then finally, August 16th of 2021,
Finally, out of July.
Chris was officially arrested for suspicion of rape.
A
Meaning-
suspicion, but they're not saying he's done it yet.
The police felt like they had solid evidence to go to trial. Chris was also erased. Yeah, that's a thing that happens in China. So in America, you get canceled. In China, you get erased from the internet. Like, every video, everything of you just gets taken down as if you never existed.
I mean, that sounds like China, I guess.
1.9 million short form videos, 7,000 videos, TV series, variety shows, everything deleted, gone, wiped, done.
I'm guessing anything that made it outside of China is obviously still here, because that's why we saw pictures of him and videos of him. Otherwise, he would just like cease to exist, literally.
Finally, November of 2022,
We're just gonna jump more than a year later.
Chris was sentenced to 11 years and 6 months for rape and 22 months for promiscuity.
Promiscuity is a crime? What? Is that just like a China thing? How do you go to jail for promiscuity? For being promiscuous? What? That's a new one. I never heard that before. 'Cause isn't that like just the normal? I think isn't that unfortunately the normal life of like the West at this point, right? It's just have relations with no love, and just like have relations with everybody and their grandpa. Right now, I'm saying that on sides. Either you're not having any relations, or you're just having relations with a bunch of strangers constantly. And that's like both men and women doing that. That kind of seems like that's what society has gone like spiraled down into. So I feel like if we had that kind of rule over here, like everybody would be in jail, right? Or at least like the younger generations would be in jail.
13 years in total. He was also slapped with an $85 million fine for tax evasion. The investigation concluded that between November and December of 2020, Chris Wu raped 3 women who were drunk and unconscious, and because he's Canadian, after serving his sentence, he's going to be deported to Canada. He will be 44 years old when he gets out in 2034.
Okay, so a long time from now, and he's Canadian, not Chinese. Like he moved to Canada so early as a kid that he has Canadian citizenship, not Chinese citizenship? Question mark.
Side note, prison in China is not fun.
I guess it never came to my mind. I only think about U.S. prison and how horrible that it's made to seem. Like you never want to go there. You might as well just like self-exit instead of going to American prison. That's how they make it seem. But I guess I never thought about other people's prisons, other countries' prisons. How bad can China be? Question mark. I'm literally asking, like, how bad?
Not that it's fun anywhere, but
Well, I mean, she says that, but literally, the neo-Nazi that went on a rampage and, I don't know if I keep saying kill here and there, but am I even allowed to say that? Or like murder? But let's just say like the neo-Nazi who murdered like how many people did he kill? Like 70 children? Like there's some adults in there. He's living in whatever country he's in because it's the one that's supposed to be like a utopia. He's living in like almost like a two-story, is it two-story, like 2-bedroom apartment in jail with like TV and video games and like a window that looks outside and whatnot. So I don't think it's the same everywhere. Because if I don't want to say what he is anymore because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. If a really bad person can delete a lot of younglings, like a lot of younglings, and be placed in a 2-story apartment with all the comforts of the world in prison for basically all of his life. I think he's in there for life. Then I feel like prisons are not made equal throughout the world. Right? So, yeah. So who knows how certain prisons are all over the world. So I can't even tell you how Chinese prison could be. The only reference I have is American prison, and that's only the, stereotype / stigma around American prisons. And then that anecdote there where that guy just is being treated like a king despite, the erasure of so many younglings. So many children. I guess I could say children if I'm not using the word. Like a harsher term of what happened to them. So yeah, I could not tell you what she means by like Chinese prisons being bad, like or how bad they could be.
This is what the toothbrushes look like.
I have no context. It's probably hard to brush your teeth with that, but it's so you can't make a shiv, I would assume.
They're the length of a thumb. It's very soft. It's silicone, so you can't hurt yourself. Everything's really soft. And you eat bland food. You have to work 8 hours a day. Apparently, prison labor is huge in Beijing. Beijing.
You don't say that China has rough labor? Question mark. Because that's also the stereotype, sweatshops and whatnot. So that makes sense. Like if you already have sweatshops to begin with, making prisoners do sweatshop stuff only makes logical sense.
Prisons are known for producing, which like prison labor is a thing in America too, just so you know. They produce a ton of ballpoint pens and charging cables. Even the 2008 Olympics that was hosted in Beijing, all the costumes and props of the actors, a lot of them were made by prisoners. They do get paid, but like America, prison wages, so not real wages.
Yeah, it's not real money.
Yeah, very little wages compared to what Chris was making on his show.
Well, I'm not like, it's not like it's not real money. It's, I'm just, by not real money, I mean like they're getting paid like $1 or something, right?
Shows, but he could get out on good behavior. But he will be deported to Canada, and it's speculated that he might go to jail in Canada too. Because under Canadian law, citizens who commit felonies abroad, even when they finish their sentences and are sent back to Canada, they might be charged again because Canada's like, wait, we don't want you out in the streets if you're a danger to the world.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Depending on the severity of the crime. So this was a pretty high-profile case. It's a sex offender case, so I guess we'll see.
It does China have like nice prisons? I feel like you have different levels of security prisons in America, right? Kind of like the one that bad guy that I was talking about is living in that country. We have different levels here. Like the one with Martha Stewart got sent to, right? She was basically just living her best life in prison when she got sent to prison because she has a lot of money. Are there prisons like that in China that are just like, oh, you have a lot of money, so I guess you can just stay in a minimum security prison and just live in basically an apartment?
And Chris is being sued by a woman in Los Angeles who said that she was underage when he had sex with her while he was there for work. Which means, is he going to go to the U.S. to face charges? I don't know, because right now it's a civil lawsuit, not a criminal lawsuit. I guess we'll see. Now, a lot of
This was made 2 years ago.
people think that all of this had to do with Chris's mom. I have mixed feelings. Usually
I don't know about that. I mean, I think, I don't know if that played exactly into this. It's just, I was saying earlier that him constantly going everywhere kind of stunted his growth as a kid, and he was stuck permanently a teenager. But that wasn't an excuse. I was just saying, making like reasoning for why he acts the way he does.
I'm like, let's not put the ultimate blame on a woman for a man's actions. But I will say the mom plays a heavy hand on this one. So this one, I'm like, I can kind of see it.
I feel like you should say that both ways. Like, I am kind of like an equal kind of guy, so I feel like you shouldn't put the blame on one person for another person because of another person. Even though, except for sometimes it is. It's complicated, right? It's not black and white. There's some shades of gray, and she's getting into shades of grays now, right? Because she's saying there is a little bit to the mom as well.
But I will say the mom plays a heavy hand on this one. So this one, I'm like, I can kind of see it.
She's the one who called the police.
Yeah.
She filed the charge.
Yes! She filed the charge for blackmail from DMZ, and that is why the police started investigating.
Yes.
At first, the police were just like internet drama.
Yeah.
The CCP was like weird internet drama.
Yeah.
And then it just got crazy. She literally went to the police because she was so cheap. She did not want to pay like $300K when they have like $400 million. She also apparently was so cheap that she would hire interns, and she would hire the interns on a 3-month probationary period, meaning you have to do your best for 3 months. And
I think it's without pay, and then she'd probably just fire them and get a new 3-month probation intern or whatever.
if you're amazing, we'll hire you and actually pay you. If not, sorry, you suck. Well, she never had any intention of hiring any of them. Apparently,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's immediately I knew exactly where that was going. She just hired them for 3 months, kicked them to the curb, and then replaced them. Kicked them to the curb, replaced them.
she went through interns like free labor. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She always fired people, and if they demanded their remaining checks, the wages that they were rightfully owed, she would give them PR packages that Chris didn't want anymore. She'd be like, well, this is more expensive than the wages I owe you. And they're like, what the f*** am I supposed to do with La Mer cream? My rent is due.
Oh my gosh.
And during team building meetings, she would say super bizarre things like, it's your responsibility to work hard for our Chris Wu. And everyone's like, well, lady, I'm just here to pay rent. Which, side note, it's speculated that Chris's mom, had Chris's mom not gone to the police, none of this would have happened.
Possibly, though we can't really say that for sure.
So, and there is another rumor that Chris's mom went to Jackie Chan looking for help, but she was turned away politely.
Yeah, why the heck would Jackie get involved with this at all? Like, he was already made a mistake getting involved with Chris originally. Like, he just needs to, like, pretend like that never happens.
I imagine the mom probably did everything she can possibly think of. Just, you can assume that, right? She's not sitting there.
Yeah, this whole thing is...
Wow.
I mean, the minute that she was like, oh, you're in pain? Come back. You don't have to be a trainee. I was like, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. When mothers baby their full-grown adult children that much, it's just never going to end well. I've never seen a situation where it ends well. So DMZ's sister posted after Chris Wu's conviction and arrest that only through hellish torture can we gain the strength to conquer heaven. Our efforts are not in vain. All the injustice we have suffered will be turned into motivation. Thank you. And now DMZ is living her best life. She seems to still be as positive and optimistic as before. She's fully enjoying her life. And she even posted, I'm not going to be a wimpy little girl anymore. I'm not going to let people down. I'm going to do my best to get into my dream college and just live a good life.
I mean, she's already in college, isn't she? I'm guessing she means maybe she's in community college and she's trying to get into, like, a bigger one out once she's out of community college.
Such a wild case. It just goes to show the power of good PR teams can only go so far.
Was this before she was doing Rotten Mango stuff? I feel like it couldn't have been, right? Because we could have easily had this in Rotten Mango channel, right? I mean, I think nobody was deleted, so maybe that's why it didn't go on Rotten Mango, but this might have been before Rotten Mango, and that might be why she was worried about doing it here. But I'm pretty sure she was worried about being attacked by the stands, and that's why she didn't want to do it.
If you're an evil, nasty person, it's gonna come to light. It's just heartbreaking because it took so long. That is the story of Chris Wu. I do know that there are still people out there who believe that he is innocent, and I do think that sometimes the internet jumps onto the guilty train too quickly because technically, at least in the United States, it's innocent till proven guilty, but he has been proven guilty, so he has been convicted. So I'm not really sure. I get it. Parasocial relationships are weird. That's it for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know. That was a shit show. I love you guys. Make sure to check out Raycon linked in the description, and I'll
She did do a Raycon ad at the beginning of this video. That was I cut that out when we were skipping it to get just straight into the actual meat and bones of the video. What is this? 3 hours. Is this the Mango channel? Mango Pet channel? It seems kind of horror-ish. look at it. Maybe it's an actual just Rotten Mango video. But that was that Chinaverse video. Interesting. I could not really assume where it was going to go, but I'm guessing the analysis that it is just he had his own mini burning sun all to himself, essentially, is what this was. Had to like find a way to like phrase that in a small way on the title of this video if I end up adding a title, because her titles and just these people's titles are like so freaking long. There's not enough letters. You get 100 characters to make a title for a video, and she uses like almost the entire 100. Like I'm pretty sure her title is 100 just because the Korean mukbang part probably cranks it to 100, so it kind of makes that. I'm going to cut that out, but then I need reactions after dark at the end, and then those little custom like bracket things actually take up probably like a few just by themselves, like they're more than just one character. So oof. But interesting story. I don't know which one's after this though, because I don't have like the playlist pulled up. I don't think it was very long. It was one that was like 40 minutes. But we'll see whenever we get around to that. Tomorrow will probably just be like a quick Dark Asia with Megan video, since like I really need time to do stuff. So I kind of didn't even want to do this today because obviously it's been 2.5 hours. But I decided to do it anyways. So tomorrow I'm probably just going to do a short video so I can have time to do other things that I need to get done. I don't think I have much else to say about this video. We said everything that we had to during, of course. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, or think about becoming a member, or subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And don't forget we have a phone now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. The do. See ya.